The anime starts with a YouTuber named Paco, who begins a live stream. He's celebrating reaching 700,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. This is a huge opportunity for him, and he wants to share it with his followers. For this special occasion, a new classmate, Rumi, also joins the live stream. Rumi is a beauty tips YouTuber who shares makeup tips and tricks, and today she's going to show a makeup demo. For this, they've invited a model, and that model is our main character, Hoban. Hoban is extremely upset with this whole situation. He neither likes getting his makeup done, nor enduring this all in front of the camera. He absolutely hates these YouTubers. He thinks to himself, these people are making money by humiliating me, and they don't even give me a single rupee. At least I should get a share of the earnings. Paco doesn't like Hoban's attitude. Annoyed, he reminds Hoban that he's there to entertain the audience, not to complain. Paco interjects with something along those lines. Then Paco tells his subscribers that he's going to give away a new PC. He shouts, announcing that a lucky subscriber will get a brand new PC. But Hoban knows it's all a lie. The stream is about to end. Paco says goodbye to the viewers, and Hoban reluctantly puts on a fake smile so that everything looks fine on camera. After the stream, Hoban has a tough time removing all the makeup. He's tired and irritated. Paco is actually a troublemaker, but his YouTube channel is huge. With 700,000 subscribers, he's earning fame and money. Paco's grades are very bad, but he knows well how to make money. On the other hand, Rumi is a new YouTuber, but she's still making good money just based on her beauty. When Hoban compares himself to these two, he feels very disappointed and annoyed. He returns to his class, but there he confronts a boy named Sniper. Sniper is angry with him because Hoban didn't smile during the live stream. Enraged, Sniper beats Hoban badly because, according to him, Hoban ruined the entire live broadcast. Sniper is actually Paco's cameraman and is considered part of the mischievous, thug-like group in school. Hoban musters the courage for a moment to talk back to Sniper, but as soon as he does, everyone else starts laughing at him and making fun of him. Paco thinks Hoban is acting without reason, and Sniper acts as if he wet his pants out of fear. Hoban thinks that Sniper had offered to become Paco's cameraman himself so that he could also take advantage of Paco's power and fame. He finds this act very weak and pathetic. Meanwhile, Rumi is shocked when she finds out she's just made $200 from the live stream they did. Hoban is stunned to hear this. He thinks, we didn't even do anything special and still got so much money. They had only streamed for a short while during the lunch break, yet Rumi had earned $200. This was all thanks to Paco, and Rumi promises him that she'll repay this favor someday. Seeing all this, an idea comes to Hoban's mind. Why don't I start my own YouTube channel? He's very surprised when Sniper BT says the exact same thing at that moment. Sniper also now wants to become a YouTuber himself. He asks Paco how to earn money from a channel. Paco explains that since they are minors, they can't earn money directly in their own names. They'll need their parents' bank accounts. But Sniper mentions a big problem. I've already been caught stealing my parents' money, so they'll never let me use their account now. Sniper remembers that Hoban's mother is sick and hospitalized, so he taunts, you have your mom's account, right? Just use that. Everyone starts laughing at this. It's clear to everyone how rudely Sniper is talking, but Hoban quietly endures it all. He feels like he should respond with his fists now, but unfortunately, Hoban can't do that. He still doesn't have the courage. He just apologizes to his mother in his mind. Sorry, Mom, I couldn't protect your honor.
Stable. After this, Hoban goes to the hospital to meet his mother. His mother tries to smile and says, I can go home whenever I want. She pretends everything is okay, but Hoban knows she's lying. He knows that if his mother leaves the hospital, her condition could worsen. She sees the marks on his face and asks, did you get into a fight? But Hoban lies. No, Mom, I would never do that. I don't want to cause you any worry. In reality, Hoban knows that he himself has started lying now. He hides everything so his mother doesn't get upset. After this, Hoban deposits $200 at the hospital to pay for his mother's treatment. Hoban thinks that this $200 is equal to his entire week's earnings. He works a part-time job at McDonald's. Even if he works every day after school, he can only earn $30. On the other hand, his new classmates are making $200 in just one lunch break. Thinking about all this, Hoban's anger erupts. He asks himself, is there really something wrong with society? Why do hard-working people get left behind? In that moment of despair, a ray of hope appears when his colleague, Bomi, smiles and says hello to him. Hoban tells Bomi where the beef patties are kept, and the other staff members offer to get them. Bomi is the star of that restaurant, a kind of idol. Seeing her, Hoban's mood suddenly gets better. Just then, Paco suddenly appears, and he's live streaming. Hoban immediately hides. Paco announces that he's here to meet the goddess of McDonald's, Bomi, who is going viral on social media these days. Hoban is surprised that Paco has come here to meet Bomi. Paco says he's set a challenge for Bomi. If you can't make a burger in 30 seconds, you'll have to give me your phone number. Hearing this, Hoban is shocked. He understands everything. This isn't a game, but an excuse to get Bomi's number. He knows that the burger they're talking about has more than 10 ingredients, and it's impossible to make it in 30 seconds. Paco pretends that he's taken on this challenge reluctantly because his viewers pressured him. But Hoban has figured out that it's all an act. The other staff members also say, none of us have Bomi's number. Everyone is lost in thought. Can these new YouTubers really do anything? Then everyone is surprised when Hoban comes forward and says the burger is already made. He even added an extra patty for free. Then he tells Paco, you can leave now. You're disturbing our customers. The whole atmosphere changes. Hoban says to himself in a low voice, I'm the king of McDonald's. The other workers praise his bravery and smartness, but Hoban knows that this happiness won't last long. He's sure to be beaten up at school for this act. His inner voice tells him, no one will accept me for who I am anyway. But in the midst of all this, Hoban manages to catch Bomi's attention. At night, he returns home and makes ramen, and that's when we find out how weak and submissive Hoban still is, because he allowed Sniper to live stream from his house. Hoban is very disappointed in himself. He regrets letting Sniper use his mother's bank account. He apologizes to his mother in his mind. At that moment, Hoban hears that someone will give Sniper $200 because he got 30 kills in a game. Hearing this, a fire of anger ignites within Hoban. Such easy money and I'm sweating my blood here? He gets so irritated that he spits in the ramen he made for Sniper. Hoban wonders if he should ask Sniper for a share of his earnings. Lost in his thought, Hoban accidentally trips on an extension cord, causing Sniper's live stream to shut down, and the hot ramen falls directly on Sniper. Hoban apologizes, saying it was just an accident. But Sniper goes crazy with anger. You've caused a $200 loss. Hoban again says it was an accident, not intentional. But Sniper starts cursing him and brutally beats Hoban. As Hoban gets beaten in his own house, he realizes how incredibly humiliating and painful this is. While getting hit, Sniper says a vile thing. Your mom has cancer, and it's your fault.
Stable. This is the last straw for Hoban. Full of rage, for the first time, he throws a powerful punch at Sniper's face. For the first time, Hoban has punched someone. A fierce fight breaks out between the two. Hoban feels that fighting isn't as bad as he thought it was. Both are attacking each other without any restraint. But they don't realize that the camera is still on and the live stream is continuing. Somewhere else, a girl from their school is watching the entire fight live. When the fight ends, Hoban gets an adrenaline rush, and now he starts feeling the pain of his wounds. But this pain isn't the only problem. Now he starts thinking that it will cost money to fix the damage to the house. Hoban gets angry that everything in his life is tied to money. He thinks, I wish I could run away from all this. Exhausted, he just tries to forget everything in his sleep. He now realizes how miserable and complicated his life is. Yet, before sleeping, he thinks about the electricity bill that will also come, so he turns off the power strip nearby. The next morning, Sniper calls. He's yelling angrily and says to delete that video immediately. Hoban doesn't understand what Sniper's talking about. Then Sniper explains that he has to delete yesterday's YouTube live stream. Hoban says in surprise, but the stream stopped when I tripped on the cable. But then Hoban remembers that the cable he had accidentally pulled was just for the monitor. The computer was still on. Sniper gets panicked and starts crying. He says that their entire fight went live on YouTube. The monitor screen went black, but the camera was on and the stream continued. And what's more, the entire stream turned into a video. Hoban says in a panic, "I didn't upload anything." Sniper explains that if a PC shuts down in the middle of a live stream, YouTube automatically saves the entire video. Sniper himself can't delete the video because it's on Hoban's mom's account. Sniper asks Hoban for the password, but Hoban is so panicked that he can't say anything. Hoban quickly checks everything and has to face the truth. Oh no, it's all true. The video now has more than 10,000 comments. It has gone viral not only on YouTube, but also on other social media platforms. The whole world has now seen that video. Hoban starts feeling that this is terrible. Before, he was only made fun of at school. Now the whole world will make fun of him. He is about to delete the video to prevent the matter from getting worse. But then he notices some comments. This video will make money. With so many views, thousands of dollars will be earned. YouTube pays a little more than half a cent per view, so Hoban quickly does the calculation, and when he sees the result, he is stunned. 10 million views means about $6,000. The next day at school, all the students are laughing at the fight video. As soon as Sniper arrives at school, he knows at a glance that everyone has seen the video. He explodes with anger. "I worked so hard to build my popularity by following Paco, and now one video has ruined everything." The whole school is now making fun of him. Sniper is not ready to give up. He thinks that if he beats up a weak boy, he might regain his fear in school. He slaps a confident-looking boy. But this time, it all backfires. The boy starts beating Sniper instead. Sniper shouts in a panic, "Paco, help me!" But Paco pays no attention. He doesn't care. Up until now, Sniper had tried to put everyone down and get ahead in life. But now the whole world sees him as a clown. His reputation is completely ruined. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Hoban is handed an $800 medical bill. He's shocked at first, but then smiles and pays the entire bill. This is not a big deal for me now. A new confidence shines on his face. One video has changed his life. Hoban is now more than just a scared, timid boy. Hoban now knows that he's going to get more than $6,000 from the video. Just then, Sniper comes and slaps him directly on the face. Sniper says angrily, "I've become a laughingstock at school and I want my share from you." Hoban flatly refuses, so another fight breaks out between the two. Hoban has fought with Sniper before, so he's not afraid anymore. After the fight, Hoban tries to make Sniper feel better, but still refuses to give him money. Just then, Sniper reveals that he had recorded their fight. He had planned all this and secretly showcased his fantastic camera angle skills. Hoban gets scared that Sniper is going to upload the video himself. But Sniper tells him that no one will watch the same old content. People will say the video was staged and then curse them for it. Sniper didn't come to fight. He just came to talk to Hoban. "Why don't you join me? I can make you even more money." Hoban is surprised and thinks, can I really make the kind of money these people are making? This moment proves to be a huge turning point for Hoban. Now he thinks about whether he should change his path.
Stable. Sniper tells him that he used to be Paco's producer, so he can do the same for Hoban. Sniper knows that Hoban hasn't received a lot of money from the video and explains that to get monetization on YouTube, he will have to do a lot of complex tasks like screening and so on. But all these things become very difficult for Hoban to understand. Sniper corners him with questions, telling him who will make the video and who will edit it. Sniper also tells him that Paco became big only because of his planning and camera work. Sniper tells Hoban that he can become his producer and that Hoban just has to show up. He tells Hoban, "Trust me, we can make money together." Hoban thinks about what if they can really make money. But Sniper is actually a big schemer and strategist. He knows that Hoban is now in his hands. He just wants to make Hoban a part of his plan to benefit himself and strengthen his position in school again. Hoban wants to know how the money will be divided, so Sniper explains that he will manage everything. He says,
We're friends now. I'll take 90% and you'll get 10%. Both get ready to shake hands. But Sniper thinks that Hoban will do all the hard work and he will climb up easily. But Hoban is not that stupid. He refuses Sniper's offer and reminds him that they are not friends. Sniper understands that without Hoban, his plan is nothing, so he offers a 50-50% deal. But Hoban still refuses, saying that he'd rather flip burgers. Sniper, in a panic, then offers to take 10% and says Hoban can keep the other 90%. Hoban now accepts the deal and eagerly waits for Sniper's new content idea. Sniper gets angry that Hoban isn't as stupid as he thought, but he's still happy that the deal is done. Then suddenly, Sniper reveals a shocking thing. His new content will be about countering real-time bullies. At this point, Hoban gets ready to face new challenges. At school, Paco calls Hoban and Spencer onto his live stream, but Hoban clearly understands that Paco just wants to grab popularity from their viral fight video. Paco forces them to greet his viewers as he had planned. He introduces Hoban and Spencer as the bullied boys, but in reality, our boys have their own secret plan. Spencer wants Hoban to make the first move, but Hoban is not ready yet. Just then, Paco promises to give away a free PC to his subscribers. But Hoban tells everyone that Paco is lying. His giveaway is a scam, and he's just pretending to be nice on camera. Hoban tells everyone on the live stream that Paco is actually a terrible person and that the injuries he has are given by Paco. Hoban also says that he will expose all of Paco's bad deeds on his channel. He knows that he will have to pay a heavy price for this. But anyway, he's beaten up every day in school, so now at least he'll get money. Meanwhile, the mysterious girl thinks that nothing new is happening, but her interest grows when people notice that Hoban looks a little different now. Spencer thinks that their plan is working perfectly. Paco's viewers are now coming to his channel. Paco also looks very upset about being exposed. But then everything goes wrong because Paco says that his live stream was cut off because his phone battery died. This means nothing was recorded. But he doesn't know that Spencer is live streaming this entire beating, and 33,000 people are watching it. They are getting a lot of new subscribers. Spencer thinks that they are not so stupid as to challenge Paco on his own live stream. Spencer calls Hoban the star of the show, because their real plan was for Hoban to get beaten up as usual, and for them to earn a lot of views and money from it. But then Hoban starts thinking, can I really earn money just by getting beaten up? Now Hoban is determined that they have to earn big money, and for that, their videos will have to go viral in an explosive way. At that moment, Hoban starts to suspect, do people really just want to see a kid getting beaten up? He realizes that people actually want to see a weak kid stand up against his bully. Now there's a little courage in Hoban, but this angers Paco. Spencer thinks that if Hoban had just quietly gotten beaten up, this would have ended quickly, and now he wonders where Hoban suddenly got this courage from. Hoban realizes the truth when he sees how much bigger and stronger Paco is than he. They are both in high school, but Paco has heavy muscles, while Hoban is like a dry stick in comparison. Hoban thinks about apologizing for a moment, but then Paco curses him and even says that his mom's cancer is his fault. Hearing this, Hoban is filled with anger. He can't tolerate anyone saying something like that about his mother. Everyone is surprised when Hoban fights back, but still, people in the chat laugh at his condition because Hoban can't move Paco an inch. Paco makes his condition even worse. He says that he will get Hoban a bed next to his mother in the hospital, and then he slams Hoban to the ground. Everyone starts making fun of Hoban again, and Hoban understands that weight is a very big deal in a fight. His fight with Spencer was just child's play. The real fight is happening now. Hoban thinks that it's all over now. But Paco gets ready to hit him again.
Stable. At that moment, a boy in the class who was always sleeping, Paco, tells him to be a little quiet. Paco tells him, if you're sleepy, go to sleep. But as soon as that boy glares at him, Paco gets scared. The boy's name is Kim, and he's a rising star in the MMA world. Paco backs away, and Hoban is surprised. With just a few words, Kim has silenced the entire class. Hoban understands that Kim is a man from a world that is completely unknown to him, a world he could only dream of. Kim goes back to sleep, and Paco leaves the class. Spencer thinks that Hoban did something cool today. Even though it looks like Hoban lost the fight, he got some new fans who are cheering him on in the comments. On the other hand, Paco reaches his house that night and breathes a sigh of relief. He thinks it was a good thing his phone switched off in time and Hoban couldn't expose him. But then he gets a shock. He gets a lot of messages that say his real face has been revealed to everyone. Later, it's revealed that Hoban is very happy. Even though Paco beat him physically, Hoban hurt him where it hurts the most, his image. Hoban's beating video went completely viral all over the internet. Paco later apologized in his stream, but he made a huge mistake. He thought the stream was off and said, "My stupid viewers will believe anything I say." This is where his downfall began. People started digging up and exposing his fake and scripted videos. The situation got so bad that someone even created a website that showed Paco's subscribers decreasing live. Now Paco has become a thing of the past, but Hoban has taken his place. One day, Spencer announces that from now on, their main content will be fights. But now another problem arises. YouTube pays for ads, not views, and for that, a video must be at least 3 minutes long. But Hoban can't last in a fight for more than 1 minute. If Hoban can't fight for 3 minutes, his YouTube career will end right there. That night, Hoban searches on the internet how to fight well. Someone replied, with years of training. But Hoban doesn't have that many years. Hoban searches for different martial arts on the internet, but each one seems very difficult. Just then, he accidentally types "how to fight" with the wrong spelling. But surprisingly, he finds a YouTube channel with the same name. That channel has no subscribers, but Hoban is shocked that there are a lot of videos already uploaded on it. Hoban plays a video, and a man wearing a strange bird-like mask appears who calls himself Samdak. Samdak says that the first step to winning a fight is to never get too agitated. If a fighter can't control his anger, he's not throwing punches, but his emotions. Conversely, if someone can agitate their opponent, they get an advantage in the fight. Samdak also teaches a special technique where a fighter can endure a beating without getting hurt. Hoban is surprised to hear this. He watches the videos, but everything seems too easy, so he thinks it's all a lie just to get views, and then he goes to sleep. The next day, Hoban quits his McDonald's job. He thinks that working there won't cover his mother's medical expenses, and he needs to make money fast. His co-workers are talking that the boy who exposed Paco is quitting his job, and Bomi overhears all this. Hoban's boss jokingly says that he will also start his own channel to become famous like Hoban, but Hoban gives him such a scary look that he goes silent. Then Bomi comes there and surprises everyone by thanking Hoban for showing the world Paco's real face, and then she asks for his phone number in front of everyone, which leaves everyone with their eyes wide open. Now, since Bomi and Hoban won't be working together, she wants them to stay in touch. Hoban immediately uses her number and starts messaging her in class, although he also has a doubt in his mind that she might be scamming him. He jokingly says, "Okay, take all my money." But Bomi thinks Hoban is just joking and having fun.
Stable. At that moment, Spencer comes and tells him that reaching 100,000 subscribers in just 2 videos is a very rare thing. Even big celebrities can't do it. But Spencer actually wants to know if Hoban has found a way to make his fight last for 3 minutes. Hoban says no, he hasn't found a solution yet. Spencer reminds him that he's famous right now, and he shouldn't let this opportunity slip away. But Hoban thinks that being famous is not always good. Then he feels his thought is wrong because Rumi comes there and asks him to join a live stream. Hoban happily agrees and says being famous is fun. The other boys are a little skeptical, but Rumi explains that her viewers are constantly demanding to see Hoban. Rumi convinces Hoban to do a live stream, but Hoban looks at his friend Spencer because he's the team strategist. But Spencer's own mind is also a little shaken. He just says that Rumi should bring a friend so they can go on a double date. Then the atmosphere becomes tense because Paco arrives there in a rage. He's angry at Hoban because Hoban ruined his entire YouTube channel. At that moment, Hoban remembers Samdok's video which said that the easiest enemy is the one who is angry. Paco is completely enraged, so Hoban gets ready for the next step, where he will be hit but not get hurt. But Paco's punch stops because Spencer is recording everything with a camera. Spencer threatens that if Paco does anything, he will upload the video. Paco says angrily that he will definitely take revenge and leaves from there. Rumi is afraid that she might also become a part of this drama, but Paco just leaves. Spencer relaxes and says, "Now say thank you." But Hoban is surprised that everything happened exactly as Samdok's video said it would. Hoban thinks about how difficult it is to have fighting as the channel's theme. Fighting with thugs every time is not possible. But instead of thinking about a solution, Hoban just gets busy messaging Bomi. He sees how good he feels chatting with Bomi. But then Bomi writes that hearing someone's voice is better than messaging. Hoban foolishly thinks that maybe she doesn't want to talk to him anymore, when in reality she wanted to talk to him on the phone. Hoban gets ready to call right away, but then some scary-looking people come and say that they are his big fans. Hoban is surprised that his fame has become like this. Now dangerous people also want to talk to him. But the matter quickly becomes clear. These people have come to steal his phone, not for money. One of them asks, "How much have you earned from the video, huh?" And Hoban understands what the real motive is. Just then, Spencer comes, but he is knocked down in one blow. Hoban is disappointed to see that Spencer has no fighting skills. The thug snatches Hoban's phone and says, "Keep making new tube videos. I'll come back to rob you again." Hoban's face falls because Bomi's number was on that phone. He says, "Take Spencer's phone instead of mine, man." Hoban says that they should call the police, but Spencer calls him crazy because he has a better idea. Spencer reveals that he was live streaming the entire robbery incident. Now Hoban's fans are cheering him on, and Spencer says that those thugs are already famous in this area. That's why counterattacking them would be a goldmine for views. Hoban thinks about whether people want to see him get beaten up again, but he abandons that thought and says, "Okay, let's start the live stream now." Hoban meets those two robbers in a karaoke room. Hoban remembers Samdok's video where he taught how to identify the dominant strong hand of the opponent. This guy is right-handed because he's holding the mic with that hand. Samdok taught that if the opponent is right-handed, one should stand on his left side so that it becomes easy for him to punch. Hoban thinks that if he's going to get punched anyway, why not try Samdok's technique? Samdok said that if a person can't properly dodge a punch, he can react in another way. Hoban could clearly see the punch coming from the right hand, so he surprises everyone when he uses the technique of taking a punch without getting hurt. The surprising thing is that Hoban doesn't get hurt.
Stable Samdok explains that a punch is most powerful only when it fully reaches its target. This means that if a person moves before that punch, they won't get much hurt. Samdok had also taught how to do a headbutt. Pulling his hoodie in, Hoban is surprised that he didn't get hurt, but he doesn't understand what to do next. The thug calls him a masochist and attacks again, but Hoban feels that he reacted a little slow. Fortunately, Samdok had also given advice for this moment. It is very difficult for normal people to react correctly to every punch, but it is equally difficult to land every punch correctly. The thug's punch surprisingly misses because Samdok taught that it is very difficult for normal people to hit a constantly moving person. This boxing technique is called weaving. As long as Hoban keeps trying constantly and keeps trying to hit his opponent's punches with his head in a failed attempt, his opponent will feel like he's a boxer with excellent weaving skills. Samdok had also taught that if someone concentrates their attention only on the opponent's fist, their fear of that punch will also disappear. And when the opponent gets angry, he will miss even more punches. Besides, even if a punch lands, Hoban won't feel any pain because he has learned the technique of taking a punch without getting hurt. Samdok had also proudly said in his video that after reaching this stage, Hoban will no longer be afraid of fighting, and that is what is happening. Now more confident than before, Hoban tells that thug to give his phone back so he can reply to Bomi. The thug doesn't know anything about Bomi, so he attacks again, but Hoban just keeps using Samdok's techniques. He repeatedly hits the opponent's punches with his head, but to the viewers, it looks as if he's letting himself get punched. The thug is surprised why Hoban is not dodging the punches. Hoban's live stream chat goes crazy. Everyone is cheering for him. Hoban's confidence is growing, but he regrets that he wishes he had watched more of Samdok's videos. He had only seen the video about taking a punch without getting hurt. He has no other techniques now. Spencer is also watching carefully, but he thinks that the situation is a little bad. This fight is going very slowly. Both fighters are just tiring each other out, and the audience is getting bored. Spencer wanted long fights, but people get bored if they are too long. He thinks about stopping the fight, but then he sees a message from a viewer. The viewer's name is Ding. He was the one who first recognized Kim as an MMA star, and it seems he has good knowledge of martial arts. Ding's comment now says that Hoban will win this fight. Everyone else in the chat is saying that Hoban is just getting beaten, but Ding calls everyone amateurs. Ding explains that the thug hasn't realized yet because of the adrenaline rush in his body, but his fists are in a lot of trouble now. The people in the chat go crazy when they see that something is indeed wrong, and the thug doesn't understand what's happening to his fists. Ding explains that punching a punching bag for too long causes the fist to swell, but this thug, in his excitement, kept hitting Hoban's rock-hard forehead again and again. Now that his adrenaline is wearing off, he feels a strong pain. Just as Ding had said earlier, now he can't fight, and this fight ends here. Spencer is surprised that Hoban actually won, although Hoban's face is in a terrible state, so Spencer is afraid that his hospital bills might be more than the video's earnings, but still, he thinks, well, it's an investment. They got a lot of followers from this fight. On the other hand, Hoban is only lost in the thought of whether Bomi will reply to him or not. The live stream ends, and Hoban says that the fight video got more than 1 million views in a week. His channel's name is now Viral Hit, and it has a total of 4 videos with a total of 25 million views. Besides this, they get their first payment of about $13,000, although they only got half a cent per view, which is very little. But Spencer explains that they first had to get approved by YouTube, and then it took time to turn on ads on the video. Considering it was the first payment, it was quite good, and Hoban gets even more motivated now. He feels that their videos should be even more sensational and violent, but Spencer warns him that they've been lucky so far that they haven't gotten a yellow mark. A yellow mark means the video has been demonetized.
This is the biggest fear of every new YouTuber, that they won't run ads and won't earn any money. In their case, if a video is very violent or very aggressive, YouTube can give them a yellow mark. That's when they see Rumi. But Spencer immediately pulls Hoban away from her because he thinks Rumi wants to attract their viewers to herself. Finally, they leave. But just then, Hoban gets distracted by a cool tracksuit. Hoban thinks that tracksuit might cost $200 or $300, and since he has received his payment, maybe he can buy it. But when he sees the real price, about $1,000, his eyes widen in disbelief. He remembers that this is the exact amount he needs to pay Spencer for 1 month. He wonders who would be crazy enough to spend so much money on just one suit, and that's when he sees Spencer already buying the suit. Hoban, astonished, says that's a whole month's salary. But Spencer says that such items are basic necessities and everyone should have one. He also advises Hoban to buy one. It is then that a crucial point dawns on Hoban. It doesn't matter how much a person earns, the truly rich are those who know how to spend large sums wisely. Now Hoban behaves like a responsible person and doesn't buy the suit. But then, a message from Bomi arrives. A few seconds later, Hoban has forgotten all his wisdom and has already bought that expensive suit just because Bomi was coming to meet him. Now, when he arrives wearing the suit, people all around stare at him. Everyone thinks, how can a boy of this age wear such an expensive suit? And many even think it's fake. Some people taunt him, saying he got famous by selling his own classmate, Peiko. People are talking behind his back about his money and fame. It is then that Hoban realizes being famous isn't as great as people think. Although the people there were making fun of Hoban, his viewers stood by him. They advised him not to take the comments to heart, and one guy even goes as far as to say that Hoban should go and beat up everyone who is speaking against him. Hoban thanks his viewers and says, "You guys are my true people." Just then, a girl excitedly asks for an autograph. But she isn't talking to Hoban, she's talking to another YouTuber, Jian. Jian is interviewing people on the streets. He tries to ask a question to a beautiful girl, but she says she's here to meet someone. Jian assumes she's here to meet her boyfriend. But then, the girl Bomi points toward Hoban. Then Bomi says, "We are same, because she is also wearing the same expensive suit." Now Hoban tells us that he was always jealous of the popular kids in school. He was always small, weak, and an average student. He feels that school is like the real world, where only the strong survive. The weak always have to bow down to the powerful. He understood this even more when Peiko used to put him down. But Peiko himself felt weak in front of Kim. Because of this, Hoban respected Kim more. But now his thinking has changed.
Now he's with Bomi and feels no need to be popular or look strong. He doesn't care what people think. Just then, people are shocked when they see them together, and a small romantic moment happens when their hands accidentally touch. A full movie starts playing in Hoban's mind. He sees himself returning from the office, and he has brought a bouquet of flowers for Bomi. When Bomi asks why there are no flowers in the bouquet, Hoban smoothly says, "Because you are the real flower." After this, their children also arrive, but then his daughter interrupts him. This idiot is dreaming. Hoban realizes how foolish he is. He dreamed so much just from a simple hand touch. Stable. On the other hand, Bomi thinks that Hoban is probably a quiet boy. A couple nearby sees them and says that they look very cute in similar clothes. The guy then feels bad for Bomi. He says that girls usually don't like to be seen with boys who are smaller than them. He thinks Hoban and Bomi can't hear them, but Hoban hears everything. Now Hoban feels that Bomi is not just bored, but is also probably embarrassed to be seen with him. He gets shaken from the inside and takes off his jacket. Bomi excitedly asks Hoban some questions about himself, but Hoban replies very strangely and distantly, only using yes, no, or a few words. Slowly, Bomi's curiosity wanes and she asks a question but then gets tired and becomes silent. Finally, Bomi decides to leave and says, "You're very nice over text, but you don't say anything in person." She apologizes for insisting on meeting. Just then, Hoban tells her the truth. He says he thought Bomi might be bored with him and admits he has never been on a date with a girl. Then he starts answering all her questions one by one. He says he didn't answer before because he was embarrassed about his answers, and then also says, "I wasn't eating anything because your beauty had distracted my attention." Bomi starts to worry about Hoban because he's all sweaty, but Hoban smiles and tells her that he was sitting near the window so that the sun wouldn't fall on Bomi. Hearing this, she also becomes very happy, and from a distance, a strange man is watching them, thinking that Hoban handled the situation very cleverly. While walking outside, Hoban feels for a moment that he is Bomi's boyfriend. During this time, Bomi mentions that she got a call from an old friend. She says that this friend is from Hoban's school, and when she takes the name Kim, Hoban's heart skips a beat. The same Kim who has everything, whom he didn't even have the courage to talk to in school, is now Bomi's old friend? Again, Hoban's dramatic dreaming starts. This time, the same scene of returning from the office comes into his eyes, but this time, she is someone else's wife, and that someone else is Kim. Kim looks at him and says, "Who is this loser who is after my wife?" And their daughter again says, "Dad, are you dreaming?" Back in reality, a flustered Hoban lies. He says that he and Kim are very good friends. Bomi gets very excited hearing this, but Hoban is panicking inside because he lied just to not seem like a part of the loser group. But Hoban immediately regrets lying because Kim comes over nearby. Bomi asks Kim, laughing, "Are you and Hoban really good friends?" And poor Hoban is standing there sweating profusely, while Kim just glares at him with a stern look. Hoban realizes he has made a huge mistake and apologizes to Bomi in his mind for lying. Hoban lied because he just wanted to keep shining as special in Bomi's eyes. Seeing the silence, Bomi becomes suspicious that something is wrong. Hoban mentally prepares himself for the moment when his lie will be caught and maybe Bomi will never talk to him again. But the surprising thing is that Kim just says, yes, maybe they are friends, and they study in the same class. He remembers Hoban's name with a little difficulty and knows that Hoban makes YouTube videos. Kim notices that Hoban is also wearing the same suit, so Hoban says, "We're matching." This wasn't a very good way to get out of the situation, but Hoban still feels happy and starts to hate himself for being happy about such a small thing. Then, all three of them walk together, but Hoban feels like a complete third wheel between them. He makes an excuse that he has an ingrown toenail and it hurts a lot, so he has to leave. He limps away, thinking he wished he could have thought of a better excuse. Nearby, Spencer was watching everything and was also live broadcasting. He thinks that Hoban was doing the right thing and should have stayed with them, but Hoban thinks that he doesn't know what it feels like to be a third wheel between two very beautiful people. Hoban compares himself to an ugly, ingrown nail. He feels that he and the other two are from completely different worlds, and no one knows him better than himself.
Stable Spencer understands that love is also like a fight, and you shouldn't give up just because a powerful opponent has appeared. Hoban says that if he doesn't fight, there will be no defeat, but Spencer calls him a coward. Then Spencer remembers what a basketball coach once said. He says with a lot of passion, "If you give up, the game ends right there." After this, he reveals that it was Bhumi who had first asked him out for coffee, meaning she wanted to meet Hoban. Spencer becomes even more emotional. His voice even trembles, and he declares that Hoban is closer to victory than all his rivals. Hoban becomes very emotional and thanks Spencer for opening his eyes. Spencer reminds him that they are good friends and that he should tell Bhumi what's in his heart. Hoban runs to meet Bhumi, but we find out that Spencer is once again just trying to make a great video. He thinks he will title this video, "I confessed my love to my crush and she rejected me." In the live chat, people say no one would want a friend like Spencer. Just then, Spencer is shocked by something and stops. On the other hand, Hoban returns and Kim jokingly says he will remove his nail. Hoban says he's fine now, so Kim goes for his practice. His next match is next week. Now Hoban understands that Kim and Bhumi were not on a date, and he had unnecessarily considered himself defeated. At that moment, Kim says something surprising. He tells Hoban that he's a good fighter. Kim had seen Hoban's video where he was fighting the thug and had understood that Hoban was deliberately taking punches in the beginning so that the pain would be less later. But what's even more interesting is that Kim believes Hoban deliberately didn't make the next move. Hoban is surprised. He himself doesn't know which move Kim is talking about. Kim leaves from there, but Hoban wonders if other people also know about the secret Chicken Man videos. Bhumi realizes that Hoban has come back to say something, but Hoban is very nervous. Finally, he asks her what kind of person she likes. Bhumi replies, "An honest person." Hearing this, Hoban decides that he will tell her what's in his heart truthfully. He imagines how he will tell Bhumi that she is the girl of his dreams. But he can't say that right now. First, he exposes Spencer, who was still secretly live broadcasting this whole moment. Hoban is shocked when he sees that Spencer's face is badly swollen because Pecco has returned for revenge. Bhumi wonders what this guy Pecco wants, but Hoban quickly tells her to leave from there. Pecco stops him and says that when he had asked for Bhumi's number, she had shown that she wasn't interested in boys, but now all this seems like an act. Pecco keeps insulting Bhumi, which makes Hoban have to remind himself to stay calm. The Chicken Man had taught him that the easiest opponents are those who are angry. Hoban completely controls his emotions and first plans to provoke Pecco. He does this very easily, which makes Pecco come to punch him in anger. Hoban is ready to use the technique of taking a punch without getting hurt. But Pecco suddenly hits him with an uppercut. He changed his punch because he had already seen Hoban's previous video. The Chicken Man had said in his video that only fools use the same move repeatedly. Unfortunately, the technique of taking a punch without getting hurt can be easily defeated by an uppercut. Now Hoban is getting badly beaten. Bhumi is worried for him, and Hoban thinks he wished he had watched all of Sam Dark's videos. He now couldn't understand what the next move Kim had mentioned. His mind has gone completely blank. In this moment, his life flashes before his eyes. How he was always beaten up. Then he got a chance to change his life. A secret channel taught him how to fight, and then he started earning money from that knowledge. But then he became complacent and stopped learning. Now he is paying a heavy price for it. He has become a loser again. As Pecco prepares to finish him off, Hoban thinks that he used to believe that it's better to get beaten up than to fight. Wounds will heal and the pain will go away. But this time it's different, because this time, Bhumi is watching him. Hoban knows that this wound is not going to heal quickly. He is ashamed that Bhumi is seeing him in this condition. So he just says one thing to Pecco, "Let Bhumi go home." Pecco starts beating Hoban again, and Hoban thinks that he has to do just one thing, no matter what, to ensure that Bhumi gets home safely. He doesn't want Bhumi to ever know what a weak and useless person he is. Hoban groans in pain. He can't believe he's doing all this in front of the girl he loves. But even this seems to be not enough for Pecco. He tells Hoban to take off his pants so that he looks even more humiliated.
Stable. Then a shocking revelation is made. Pecco has forced Spencer to stream all this live on his Pecco YouTube channel. He asks how many people are watching, and Spencer apologizes to Hoban in shame. Peiko says that if Hoban obeys him, he will forgive him, but then Hoban has to face the biggest humiliation of his life. The girl he loves is the first one to show courage. Bomi slaps Peiko hard. Peiko goes crazy with anger and tells Spencer to turn the camera away. He now wants to hit Bomi, but not on camera. Just then, everyone is shocked. Hoban pulls down his pants a bit. He knows he can't defeat Peiko in a real fight, so this is his way of saving Bomi. Peiko can't believe Hoban actually did it. He mocks him, saying that Hoban's subscribers will surely decrease now. Then he threatens him to send all the money he has and to shut down his YouTube channel forever. Just then, Hoban shows his tremendous courage. He reveals his real plan. He is about to take off his boxers as well. Peiko gets scared because if this is live streamed, his YouTube channel can be banned forever. But Hoban has made up his mind. He says goodbye to Bomi and says that this is his final protest. Peiko begs him not to do it, but he doesn't need to. Kim suddenly comes back and stops Hoban. Hoban is angry because Kim is depriving him of his last bit of dignity as well. Kim had seen the live stream and had come there immediately. Kim easily defeats all the boys and even Peiko begs for his life. Hoban feels so ashamed of himself that he can't even lift his head. Bomi is worried about him, but Kim explains that Hoban should be left alone at this time. Hoban wonders when he became such a helpless person. He thinks maybe it was when his father left them. But he feels that when he joined school, he was very happy. Everything was ruined when he became friends with Peiko. He never understood why Peiko used to hit him, because the truth is that Peiko never had a reason. This is where Hoban started hating school. He stopped looking people in the eye. His body also became weak, and his fear reached its peak. Now Hoban has become the same again. He cries loudly. Spencer apologizes. Now he is streaming again only for his most loyal viewers. This time he makes himself a makeup model and thinks he wished he could apologize to Hoban properly. On the other hand, at McDonald's, Bomi is upset that Hoban is not answering any of her calls. On the other side, Hoban is in his house and tells us, "I just wanted to disappear." But Hoban is no longer just feeling sorry for himself. We see that Samdak's video is playing on Hoban's computer. Samdak says, "Miracles don't just happen for those who don't work hard." The fighting technique being taught in this video is called How to Fight and Win Against an Average Person. Then we see our hero Hoban doing push-ups, having decided to change himself now. Samdak says that the inspiration for people to change themselves doesn't just come from YouTube videos. Anger is necessary for this. Anger at oneself. With that anger, a person finds the strength to change. Hoban also now puts his heart and soul into changing himself, as if nothing else matters in this world. Samdak says that it will take a full month to master the technique in this one video. On the other hand, at school, Peiko has beaten up Spencer while live streaming. He shouts, "Will Hoban leave his friends among the wolves like this?" He calls Hoban to school. But Spencer pleads, "Hoban, don't come. Stay at home. It's safe there." Hoban is watching all this live. Spencer keeps stopping him, but the surprising thing is that Hoban is already present at the school. Spencer can't believe his eyes. The strange girl who always sees everything runs to find out what is happening. Hoban gives his phone to Spencer. Spencer is shocked to see that the live stream has already begun. Hoban says, "Turn the camera," and then declares, "Today's live stream will be titled, How to Fight and Defeat an Average Person." A day earlier is shown, where Spencer refuses to believe that he was Hoban's friend. He offers to become a producer and even says that he had tolerated Hoban only as a business partner. Spencer also calls Hoban a loser, but Peiko hits him because he had already betrayed Peiko by supporting Hoban. Now he is betraying Hoban too. That's why Peiko asks, "Doesn't Spencer feel ashamed, living by belittling himself in front of everyone?" All the people look at him with hateful eyes. Spencer admits that he is the worst kind of person. To survive in life, he always has to flatter powerful people. He can neither fight nor get good grades, so this is his way of getting ahead. He doesn't have any true friends either. Just then Peiko starts his stream, and Spencer reveals how Peiko's channel is running again. Even after being exposed, people have accepted him again. Now Peiko's new style, which is very straightforward and fearless, is making him even more popular, and now he's celebrating completing 900,000 subscribers. On the other hand, the subscribers of the viral hit channel are continuously decreasing because Hoban is missing and no new video is coming. Still, there are some loyal fans who are waiting for his return. But it is difficult to say how long people will wait for Hoban. Just then, an idea comes to Peiko's mind. He plans to reach 1 million subscribers. He tells Spencer to convince Hoban to come to school the next morning. Hearing this, Spencer is filled with anger inside. He thinks how low Peiko is to ask him to betray his own friend.
But then Peiko says that if his plan is successful, he will make Spencer his cameraman again. Spencer starts screaming at Peiko, but Peiko says he has left Hoban and come to him, so he can immediately leave Peiko too. Peiko promises to share 10% of profit from the channel and also says that he will make Spencer his video editor again and he will also be a friend. Spencer tells Peiko to give him 10% first before he can trust him. Peiko thinks Spencer is really clever now and gives him the entire amount by mobile. Now all Spencer has to do is to convince Hoban to come to school the next morning.
Stable, hearing this, Spencer agrees. He even says that Hoban was never his friend. Spencer thinks that he has no other choice. He has to survive no matter what. That's why he shouldn't miss this opportunity. Spencer quickly reaches the hospital and asks Hoban's mother for their house address. He has been to their house before, but he doesn't remember the correct house number. Hoban's mother is surprised to hear that Hoban is not going to school. Spencer just says that the matter is very important. In his mind, he again justifies himself. He will do whatever it takes to stay alive. As soon as the mother tells him, Spencer thinks that now he is saved. But the next day at school, he has been beaten up again. This time too, it is Peiko who is beating him because Hoban didn't come to school. Peiko is angry because Hoban ruined his whole plan, and now he won't even get $300 for that small project. Spencer tells him that he had gone to Hoban's house and called out to him, but Hoban didn't come out. Peiko doesn't care. He beats Spencer up again. Then Peiko gives Spencer one last chance. He says that this time, Hoban must be brought to school. And then he starts the live stream. But Peiko is shocked when Spencer does something completely opposite. He tells Hoban not to come to school at all. Spencer tells him that Peiko is only getting $300 to beat him up. Spencer says that this time Peiko might even kill him. That's why he tells Hoban very seriously, stay at home. Peiko loses his temper hearing this and punches Spencer hard. Then it is shown why Spencer's heart changed. A day earlier, when he was talking to Hoban's mother, she had told him that Hoban had called Spencer his friend in front of her. Hoban had told his mother that he now likes school more because he has found a true friend. Spencer was shocked to hear this. He realized that no matter how much he lied or deceived, Hoban called him a friend, and this touched his heart. Now he cannot betray him. Then we come back to the present, where Hoban has returned to school.
Spencer had forbidden him, but Hoban tells Spencer to go live and says the video's title will be How to Fight and Win Against a Regular Person. Spencer is amazed at Hoban's cool style, but then he sees that Hoban has written his entire speech on his hand. Hoban starts with his old technique, getting hit but not getting hurt. Spencer is scared because Paco has already defeated this move. Paco is also disappointed because Hoban should know that this technique won't work anymore. He moves in to throw a powerful uppercut, and the story flashes back a month. When Hoban was completely humiliated in front of everyone, he realized he had become overconfident. He thought he was a good fighter, but in reality he'd embarrassed himself in front of Bomi. He thought he should probably never meet Bomi again. He also felt that he couldn't face his viewers. But then he thought if he stopped making videos, how would he pay for his mother's hospital bills? He was completely broken, questioning why he was so weak and useless. He thought if this were an anime, a miracle might happen, and he would suddenly become powerful. But Hoban knew this was real life, and such miracles don't happen. Then he realized he had a miracle of his own, his secret YouTube channel. Hoban then started Chicken Man's second lesson, How to Fight and Win Against a Regular Person. Samdok said that Hoban's true hard work would now be tested because the next technique would take a full month to learn. The first of the 3 essential things in fighting is to strengthen your body. Samdok said Hoban would have to consume good quality protein to build his muscles. Professional fighters can compensate for a lack of size with technique, but new fighters can't. They have to make their bodies strong enough to withstand any attack. Hoban made a raw meat shake to get his protein, but as soon as he drank it, he vomited it all up. Actually, Hoban had gotten a bit too enthusiastic and missed a crucial part of the video where Samdok had clearly said to just go buy a protein shake. The second essential thing in fighting is willpower. Hoban didn't have the money to buy a protein shake, but he was taking all this very seriously.
so he used his willpower to somehow drink the terrible shake he had made. Samdok also said that eating too much could lead to weight gain, so exercising was also important. The third essential thing in fighting is stamina. Samdok told him that swimming is the best way to increase stamina. Stamina is important because it allows you to last longer in a fight. Samdok also taught a unique way, swimming with clenched fists. This speeds up metabolism. The problem, however, was that swimming pools are for cheerful and lively people, and Hoban is very shy. But his determination was incredible. He just went to a public bath to swim. All this was very hard work, and Hoban was exhausted. Even though Hoban was tired, his spirit never wavered, but he was shocked when Samdok revealed that the changes in his body weren't just from building stamina in 1 month. What he had learned was a strong foundation. Then Samdok said the most important thing a new fighter needs is a technique that acts like a weapon. Hearing this, Hoban became very excited because he was about to learn a super move. Samdok then asked which martial art is the most suitable for a street fight or a brawl. A reporter had once asked a champion martial artist the same question. If there's a weak kid being bullied, which martial art should they learn? The champion's answer was just one skill, and it wasn't even boxing. Now Hoban's excitement was at its peak. Then Samdok said, "Now I will teach you that champion's secret move." Samdok explained how to take the correct stance, all the weight on the front foot, no tension on the back foot, and then twist your body as if looking back. The story now returns to the present. Hoban uses that same MMA-style move on Paco at school, a powerful low kick. Everyone is shocked, and Hoban himself can't believe he actually landed the move. In reality, Samdok had made Hoban practice this low kick 10,000 times over the past month. Samdok had said that if someone works hard with their heart, they will surely get the results because hard work never betrays anyone. Hoban couldn't believe he had landed the kick correctly, but Paco laughed. He already knew the move. He said, "Low kicks are meant for the thigh, but you hit me somewhere else." But then Spencer saw that old man Ding in the chat again, and he said that Hoban had kicked in the exact right spot. Then Spencer was even more shocked when Kim also recognized that Hoban had deliberately used an upgraded MMA-style low kick. Its real name is the calf kick. This kick doesn't affect slowly like others, but causes powerful damage in a single hit. Kim was so impressed that he thought about subscribing to Hoban's channel. Kim remembered his earlier conversation with Hoban and thought Hoban would use this very move next. Stable Voice had taught Hoban another important thing. If your opponent is bigger than you, running away is also a skill. Hoban knew that if Paco caught him, he would destroy him, so he kept his distance and landed another calf kick at the right moment. All the spectators in the live chat were stunned, but something felt wrong to Kim. Why wasn't Hoban making his next move? Then Kim and Paco both understood the truth. The truth was that the calf kick was Hoban's only move. Everyone was shocked. Had Hoban come to fight Paco with just one move? Paco shouted, "This move won't work on me anymore." Samdok had explained in his video that the calf kick is very important, but it's also easy to understand. Learning 2 moves in a month is very difficult, but Samdok had taught one more move during the training. Paco saw another kick coming, but Hoban wasn't the same as before. Samdok had taught him that his opportunity would come when the opponent focused on just one move. Now Paco's full attention was on Hoban's leg, but then Hoban suddenly screamed, "I'm not a loser anymore!" He clenched his fist and showed the strength he had gained from swimming. A powerful overhead hook landed directly on Paco's face. Paco collapsed. Hoban stood victorious and everyone was stunned. He told Paco, "You're a disgusting person and your story ends here." Some of Paco's friends came to get revenge, but Spencer stopped them. He said, "If you even touch my friend Hoban, the consequences will be terrible." Then Spencer thinks, if Hoban gets beaten up, so will I, because now I'm his true friend. He didn't know before that Hoban considered him a friend, but after talking to his mother, he was sure. Spencer is surprised that the bullies are scared of him, but the truth is that he is standing there and everyone is scared of him. Kim is also very impressed with Hoban's fight. This fight has made Hoban emotional, and he knows that now is the perfect time to revive his channel. Hoban looks at the camera and says, friends, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. After that day, Paco never came to school again, but Hoban knows he didn't run away out of fear, he left out of shame. Hoban has a strange feeling in his heart. He feels that he didn't truly defeat Paco. After so much hard work, perhaps it was just a lucky punch. Hoban believes that Paco was actually afraid of losing his fame, and this is what gives Hoban the most peace. Such a disgusting person deserves this punishment. And the best part is that Hoban's YouTube channel, Viral Hit, has slowly started to take off. He has over 15,000 subscribers. Hoban promises everyone, "I will work harder and bring better videos." After that, he takes a gift for his mother and pretends that it's very cheap. His mother smiles and says, "Your friend came to meet me a few days ago." Hoban doesn't remember who his mother is talking about. Then we see Spencer standing outside the room with a gift in his hand. His mother reminds him, "The same friend you said gives you energy when he's with you." Now Hoban remembers, but the friend he was talking about was Kim. Spencer is stunned to hear this. He thought Hoban was talking about him. He gets angry and starts fighting with Hoban. "Wasn't I your real friend?" But the reality is that Hoban now considers Spencer his true friend too. As they playfully wrestle, Hoban thinks that Spencer is a bit hot-headed and cranky, but a good person at heart.
Sometime later, Spencer suggests to Hoban that they should hire a professional editor. Until now, Spencer had been doing the editing himself, but he's just an amateur. He feels that if the channel is to grow, a good editor is necessary. Even if the content is good, people can get bored if the editing isn't entertaining. Hoban agrees and thinks they'll have to post a listing on a job site, but Spencer has a better idea. Hoban is shocked when he finds out that Spencer was live streaming all this. Spencer's idea is to ask their own viewers if anyone would like to be an editor. The comments make it clear that this might not be the best way. So Hoban clarifies that they're looking for someone with video editing experience. Then Ding, the old man who always analyzes Hoban's fights, comments that he has some editing experience. Spencer is a bit suspicious because the man is old, but Hoban doesn't care about age, he just wants a good editor. Spencer agrees because Hoban wants it. He tells the old man that they will interview him the next day. Hoban says he found the man's profile information, but looking at the profile, Spencer and the others get a little worried. Spencer becomes so concerned that he tells Hoban to block the man. But Hoban stands his ground and says that the old man is coming soon for the interview. The boys are scared that the old man might start scolding them like adults often do, but they are all shocked to find out that the person is actually a girl. She scolds them and says there's no time to be shocked and they should start the interview. Her name is Gail, and she is known for her cuteness, but is not very popular in her class because she talks like an old man. She tells the young men to start the interview. Gail laughs at her strange way of talking because she uses words like an old man. Then Gail holds his hand and tells him how rude he is. But this touch sends Spencer into a dream world, just like Hoban's fantasies. In the dream, Spencer comes home after a long day at work and gives his wife Gail a bouquet of flowers. But one bouquet has no flowers, so he prepares to say a romantic line just like Hoban had in his imagination. But then Spencer's dog, whose name is Hoban, wakes him up. Half asleep, Spencer tells Hoban to sit, be a good boy. But then he comes to his senses. He can't believe he had such a big dream just from her touching his hand. Then they watch the video Gail has edited. The intro itself impresses Hoban a lot. Spencer just keeps looking at her small hands and thinks he wishes he could have a thumb wrestling match with her. Spencer wants to hire her immediately, but Hoban says they have to watch the whole video first. Gail has even edited the viewers' funny comments into the video, which is a special part of Hoban's channel. Hoban still can't decide whether to hire her or not, so he asks if she had any trouble while editing. Gail says she had trouble removing some sensitive content, including something on Hoban's underwear that had to be edited out. Hoban is very embarrassed, so he just agrees to hire Gail. Seeing her skills, Hoban realizes she could get a job anywhere, so he is surprised why she wants to work with them. Gail says she is just their fan, so they both agree to work together. On the other side, Boomy sees the announcement of Viral Hit's new editor. She wonders if Hoban has time for a YouTube channel, so has he ever intended to call or text her? And worse, Hoban doesn't even pick up her phone. Then some people gather nearby and everyone looks worried. Boomy goes to see and is shocked. Many boys have been beaten up.
Nearby, a boy named Clay is playing an arcade game. A big man comes up and asks him if he was the one who defeated everyone. Clay is more concerned and asks the man if he has 50 cents to continue the game. At Hoban's house, Spencer tells him about a man named Taekwon. He was a former fighter in the Max MMA League, but was kicked out for causing too many fights and troubles. There are many bad rumors about him. It is said that every student in his high school was beaten up by him at least once. Spencer says that Taekwon has been learning Taekwondo since childhood, but Spencer is not very impressed with Taekwondo. He thinks it's useless. Spencer feels that Taekwondo is not a very strong fighting style, because according to him, it's just about dodging kicks. If someone comes to kick, you should just grab their leg and trip them. Spencer even says he himself can defeat any Taekwondo fighter.
Stable Gael scolds them and says that all this talk is just a beginner's way of thinking. She explains that the Taekwondo that is not good for street fighting is called sport Taekwondo, but combat Taekwondo is completely different. Sport Taekwondo has points and time limits, but the real goal of combat Taekwondo is to knock out the opponent directly. Then we see a live demo of this. The same boy who was playing the arcade game suddenly kicks the big man in the face. Gael explains that there was once an experiment where the speed and power of the kicks of different martial arts fighters were measured. Muay Thai and karate fighters had good range, but the Taekwondo fighter's kick surpassed everyone. His kick's maximum speed was 220 kilometers per hour, and its power was over 1,000 kilograms. Hoban doesn't understand what all this has to do with him. Then Spencer reminds him that his channel is for defeating bullies. Then Spencer reveals that Hoban's next fight is with Taekwon. Hoban acts cool at first and says yes, but as soon as he fully understands the situation, he starts to tremble with fear inside. Gael explains that Taekwondo is very famous nowadays, and many MMA fighters use it. Even discount Mike Tyson said that Taekwondo is a good fighting style. Gael explains that Taekwondo has a unique move called the back kick, where you can attack your opponent with your back turned to them. The arcade boy lands this kick and takes down the big man in one blow. Spencer had gotten this guy's details from their viewers, which Hoban thinks is a great idea. But the real tension is that Taekwon is not an ordinary bully. He is a professional fighter. Hoban thinks he is about to fight not a human, but a monster. He wishes he had just made food videos. There would be no fighting mess. Then more frightening things about Taekwon come out. In school, he is called the Gangbook High's Devil. He is a psychopath whom the whole school fears. People believe he just steals expensive things. But the truly scary thing is that he holds people's friends hostage and beats them up badly in front of them so that they can't do anything and break down inside. Hoban can't even read about him. Taekwon turned out to be far more dangerous than Paco. Hoban is trembling with fear. Spencer reminds him that he can't break the promise he made to his viewers. Hoban replies that he only promised to fight bullies, not professional fighters. Gael likes the idea of beating up bullies so much that she wants to fight Taekwon herself. But Hoban doesn't have any motivation to fight because he hasn't even seen Taekwon. Meanwhile, Taekwon is lost in a dream of becoming rich. Then some bullies come for revenge, but as soon as Taekwon sees them, he starts asking for 50 cents to go back and play the arcade game. One of the big men tells Taekwon that Taekwondo is just for show, and as soon as he catches him, it will all be over. But Taekwon easily dodges his move and throws him in the air. Then he unleashes a barrage of kicks. Taekwon asks for 50 cents again. The big man gets scared and agrees to give it. But Taekwon says he was talking to his friend. The friend also gets scared and agrees to give the money. Taekwon then says he now needs $50. The friend agrees again. But then Taekwon beats up the big man more and says he now needs $5,000. The friend says he doesn't have that much, so Taekwon says the man will be punished. Spencer is secretly recording a video nearby and gets scared because Taekwon is a bigger psychopath than the rumors. Spencer remembers that they had made a promise to their viewers, but now he thinks it's better to stay away from this madman. Suddenly, Taekwon looks at him and Spencer quickly hides. Later,
Hoban praises his friend's hard work, but also tells him to be careful next time. He is happy that Spencer is safe, but then he realizes that if Taekwon finds them, their lives are over. Then Spencer tells Taekwon that he was just making a video because his taekwondo is so cool. Hoban is happy that Spencer is such a good talker because maybe he can talk his way out of this trouble. This is the perfect opportunity for him because Hoban hasn't decided yet whether to fight Taekwon or not. After all, he is not a hero who always fights for justice, and his body can't withstand every fight. At that moment, Gael arrives and thinks Taekwon might be harming them. Hoban is scared that Gael might try to fight Taekwon because if that happens, it could create trouble like the Bomi emergency. But Gael stops quickly, and Hoban realizes that she is just as scared inside as they are.
They try to explain to Taekwon that they will just delete the video and leave quietly. But everyone is shocked when Taekwon recognizes that they are from the viral hit channel. He has heard that they are thinking of fighting him and also that their channel makes a lot of money. So Taekwon tells Hoban, "Give me your channel." This might sound like Taekwon is just an ordinary bully, but he is not. Taekwon does exactly what the rumors say about him. He holds his victim's friends hostage, and this time, he hits Spencer. Now they remember that Taekwon doesn't really care about the things he takes. His real goal is to make people feel helpless and ashamed as they watch their friends get beaten up. Taekwon once again tells Hoban, "Give me your YouTube channel." And then, as if nothing happened, he asks for 50 cents. Hoban was so shocked that he couldn't do anything, and Taekwon started hitting Spencer. He couldn't believe someone could beat someone so badly for just 50 cents. The man asks for their YouTube channel again, but Spencer refuses to give it up because they had put a lot of hard work into that channel. Hoban tries to intervene, but Taekwon threatens him and demands the channel. Hoban starts to feel scared just by Taekwon's presence. He feels that if he clashes with Taekwon, his kicks and punches will be useless. He feels certain that he will lose. So he agrees to give up the channel. Everyone is shocked, and Taekwon slaps him. Hoban doesn't do anything because he just wants the violence to stop. He realizes that people like Taekwon have no shame and no fear of losing, which is why nothing affects them. After this, Hoban takes Spencer to the hospital because Taekwon's single kick had broken some of his ribs. Hoban knew Spencer was very angry, but he feels that if he hadn't listened to Taekwon, the situation would have been much worse. Hoban wanted the police to handle everything from now on, but Spencer explains that he doesn't want to give up his YouTube channel at any cost, even if he has to get beaten up. He believes that when Hoban stood his ground against Paco, it inspired him a lot. He felt that if a weak person could do that, maybe he could also be brave. Spencer wonders if Hoban has no regard for his own self-respect, but clearly Hoban says he has no problem if he has no self-respect. He says that self-respect doesn't fill your stomach. Paco was just a bully, but Taekwon is a professional. Hoban admits he is scared because Taekwon neutralized the attacks that Hoban had worked so hard to learn. Hoban just doesn't want to get hurt, and he apologizes because he doesn't know what else to do. Gael comes to meet Spencer. Spencer talks with a smile and jokes that if he were in better condition, he would get revenge on Taekwon. But as soon as Gael sits down, Spencer says he is very tired and wants to be alone for a while to rest. After Gael leaves, Spencer starts crying. He wanted to impress her, but instead his weakness was exposed. He feels that Gael now knows how useless and weak he is, and he feels very ashamed. Hoban, standing outside the door, hears all this and remembers the moment when he had to face humiliation in front of Bomi. At the arcade, some boys lose to Taekwon in a fighting game. Hoban arrives there and takes their place. Everyone is shocked when Hoban defeats Taekwon, and that too without taking a single hit. Taekwon can't believe it, and Hoban says that Taekwondo isn't that special. Hoban was using the same trick he learned in Samdok's first lesson, making his opponent angry. This trick works, and Taekwon gets annoyed. Inside, Hoban is very scared, but on the outside he looks calm. He says he has come to give Taekwon the YouTube channel, but in reality, he is live streaming the entire scene. Suddenly, he reveals that he will only give the channel if Taekwon defeats him in a fight a month later. Hoban himself feels like he has gone crazy for challenging a pro. Taekwon angrily asks what Hoban would do if he demanded the channel right now. But Haben confidently says again, "Are you scared that if I get time to prepare, you will lose?" This angers Taekwon so much that he breaks the arcade machine and accepts Haben's condition.
Later, Hoban tells his friends everything. Geol is very angry because now she will be worried about Hoban. She says that if Taekwon hurts Hoban, she will show him her special calf kick. Spencer knows why Hoban suddenly changed his mind. Hoban just says that he understands that feeling. He remembers how sad Spencer was, but he doesn't say it openly. Hoban now gets ready for the fight and thinks about how fast a month passes. That night, Hoban watches Samdak's Lesson 3 video, which explains how a regular person can defeat a taekwondo fighter. This technique involves using a power strip, and Hoban practices hanging from it with all his strength. It looks a bit strange, but Hoban has complete faith in this training because the same training had brought him victory before. A scene from earlier is shown where Hoban was watching Lesson 3 for the first time. He is shocked when Samdak says that it is impossible for a regular person to defeat a professional taekwondo fighter. Common sense says that a regular person should give up in such a fight. Hoban, with hopeful eyes, begs his master for a way out. But Samdak creates more fear. He says that if a regular person gets hit by a taekwondo back kick, the result could be death. Taekwondo kicks are very powerful and a regular person has no chance. Hoban is filled with fear because he had never heard his master talk like this. He starts to wonder if it's really impossible for a regular person to defeat a pro. Then Samdak asks, will all these things still be true if the fight is outside the ring? He reminds them that he is teaching how to fight, not a martial art. Then Samdak reveals the real secret to defeating a taekwondo fighter. Don't let them use their legs. He explains that taekwondo's footwork and kicks become useless on a slippery and wet floor. The effectiveness of every martial art depends on its environment. So Hoban just has to fight in a place where Taekwon can't use his legs. Thinking this, Hoban decides to challenge Taekwon to a fight on a rainy day. After finalizing the location, Samdak tells his viewers to improve their calf kicks and overhead hooks. Hoban does his previous training to make his body stronger. He also gains some confidence because Taekwon's advantage will be reduced and Hoban can rely on the moves he already knows. But Samdak also makes it clear that even after doing all this, it will not be enough for a regular person to defeat a professional fighter. Even with all the conditions met, the chances of winning are only 5%. But if he has one move, this possibility can increase to 40%. This move is the tackle. The tackle is the move that fighters who rely mostly on kicking hate. To learn this, Samdak did water training which strengthens muscles, heart, lungs and stamina. The tackle requires the most core muscles, so Samdak tells Hoban to focus on them for the next month. Then the story returns to the present. Hoban's friends come looking for him and are surprised to see him hanging from a bar in his closet. Hoban is exhausted and it turns out that Samdak's training was just this, hanging from anything. Hoban asks what they are doing there. Spencer says he came to livestream Hoban's training because they can't sit idle for a whole month. Gyul sees a strange garbage bag lying nearby. But it's actually another of Hoban's training stations. When Hoban's chances of winning reached 40%, Samdak wanted him to reach 50%. For this, he also started Hoban's abs training. An alarm goes off and Hoban immediately starts doing sit-ups without delay. His body has now become like a machine. Spencer thinks that all this training has made Hoban crazy because according to him, doing sit-ups can't defeat Taekwon. But Gyul calls him childish and says what Hoban is doing is completely right. She repeats Samdak's words, explaining that taekwondo kicks are very dangerous even if they don't land with full force. So it's important to build a body that can withstand them. Gyul can't just watch, so she kicks Hoban in the stomach to make his sit-ups more effective. Spencer still has a crush on Gyul, so he gets jealous. The day of the fight arrives and Hoban's viral YouTube channel followers are talking about it in public. Hoban asks himself if he can really defeat a pro fighter. But then he thinks about all his training. He has also chosen a narrow street on a rainy day for the fight. The street is not so narrow that it will completely stop Taekwon's kicks, but it can still help to some extent. Due to the rain, the floor will be slippery and Taekwon won't be able to kick properly. Hoban prays in his heart that the rain starts now. Then Spencer says that the weather forecast has been completely wrong for the past 2 weeks. Spencer is happy because the rain will ruin the video footage, but Hoban gets scared. The absence of rain ruins all his plans and fighting in that location becomes meaningless. Samdak had already said that if a pro taekwondo fighter's kicks are not stopped, it is impossible for a regular person to win. Hoban gives up and runs away from there. Spencer apologizes to his viewers. On the other side, Taekwon is watching all this. He knows that Hoban will now have to give up his YouTube channel. Taekwon starts to think that he is about to become rich and what he will buy first. Then a splash of water hits Taekwon, which shocks him. Taekwon gets angry, and we see that Hoban did this with a hose. Hoban reminds himself what the first lesson of fighting was: to make your opponent angry. This works, as Taekwon angrily asks what Hoban is doing. In the third lesson of fighting, ways to defeat a Taekwondo fighter was taught, and Hoban did exactly what was taught to stop Taekwon's kicks. He flooded the bathroom floor with water. It didn't rain, so Hoban made his own rain. Now Taekwon can't use his kicks, and Hoban thinks he can defeat him. He confidently tells his viewers to subscribe to his channel. But Taekwon gets angry and suddenly punches Hoban in the face. Hoban is a bit shocked and thinks what kind of strike was this, because his vision has become a bit white. Taekwon is disappointed to see that this was Hoban's whole plan, and he's also very disappointed in Samdak. He wonders if Hoban really prepared for a whole month just to splash water to stop Taekwon's kicks. Then Taekwon starts slapping Hoban. Hoban quickly realizes that this is not like the fight with Paco. He starts to feel dizzy, but he still works hard. Taekwon is surprised to see that Hoban lands a powerful calf kick. The chat doesn't understand how Hoban landed a kick while being in the water. Then they realize that Hoban was wearing water shoes. These shoes don't slip in water, and Hoban had fought in the pool with these very shoes. Hoban himself admits that he is in a lot of pain and really wants to give up. But then he gets some confidence when Spencer reminds him that it's almost been 3 minutes, so they can put ads in the video. Hoban dodges Taekwon's attack and wonders how Taekwon can be so fast. He thought that Taekwon would slip because the floor is wet and he's not wearing water shoes. Hoban had easily defended against Paco, but Taekwon is anticipating every one of his movements. Now Taekwon has complete control of the fight. For the first time, Hoban understands how important footwork is. Taekwon looks like he is slipping, but he still gets very close to Hoban. He is using a professional-like technique. Now Hoban can't run away, but he doesn't care. He lands a calf kick and thinks that he has also worked hard. Hoban assures himself that this fight is not over yet, but he has taken many blows and his stamina is decreasing. Now he has only one option: another calf kick. Spencer thinks he wishes Hoban would stop shouting the name of his move when he attacks. He feels that Taekwon will now knock him out. Hoban does the calf kick again, and Spencer is shocked because he now starts to think that maybe Hoban keeps shouting the name of the move to distract the opponent. He remembers that Hoban had done the same thing with Paco. He said kick, but actually landed a punch, and the same thing happens now. Hoban says calf kick, but actually performs a tackle attack. In the previous flashback, it is shown that Samdak knew that his viewers might never be able to do a tackle correctly because they did not have faith in themselves. Samdak had explained that a real tackle happens when you grab the back of the knees and pull. Only then can you take down even the biggest opponent. Hoban now does the same, a technique called a double leg tackle. Samdak had said that if you take down the opponent, your chances of winning increase to more than 50%. Spencer gets very excited and thinks that now Hoban just has to land one punch and Taekwon will lose. But Samdak had warned not to punch the opponent after they fall, because they are a professional. Instead, he had taught the next step in advance. Put your hand under the fallen opponent's collar. Grab the clothes tightly and pull hard. Then grab the other collar with your other hand in the same way. Samdak tells his viewers to clench their fists the same way they did while hanging from the pole. Hoban is confident that he can do this because he believes that hard work always pays off.
This move, which Satiq taught on the carotid artery, applies pressure and is called a cross choke. It takes 10 seconds to lose consciousness with this move. That's why Satiq had said to count silently in your mind. Hoban starts counting, but he is surprised when Toon tells him that Hoban's legs aren't on top of him. Toon realizes that this is Hoban's first real fight and tells him that Hoban rushed it. A flashback shows that Satiq had already warned that new fighters should remain calm and pay attention to each step. Hoban understands what a big mistake he made because he forgot the basic things, and Toon pushes him forcefully, making him hit the urinal. Toon is impressed with Hoban's tackle and cross-choke, and Spencer thinks about how close Hoban was to winning. Toon says that he intentionally let Hoban take him down to take his shoes. The audience also understands this because a pro doesn't fall so easily. Everyone is shocked when Toon starts wearing Hoban's water shoes. Zandiak had already said that if the audience can't stop Taekwondo fighters from kicking, they have only one option: to run away, because when they kick with full force, it looks like a trick. Now Toon has worn one of Hoban's water shoes and says that now he will be able to use his kicks properly. Bomi doesn't want to watch the fight, and Kim understands because Hoban is ignoring his calls. Kim tries to explain that this time Hoban is fighting a pro, but Bomi says she doesn't care.
Just then, Kim reveals that Hoban has landed a move. Bomi is surprised and gets interested. The move was the tackle and cross-choke, which makes her think that maybe Hoban is won. Kim knows this isn't true because Hoban messed up the last step. Bomi gets angry when Kim turns off the stream, but he says it's better for her not to watch. Spencer gives Hoban courage, but Hoban now realizes the gravity of the situation. Toon intentionally let him try all his moves to take his shoe. A month of hard work went to waste. However, the audience still believes that Hoban can win. Hoban himself admits that he has no chance and apologizes that he'll have to give up. Just then, Spencer reminds him that he needs to earn money. Hoban gets motivated and thanks his audience because he has now received their messages. The audience also enjoys it because they see that the power of money has made Hoban stand up again. Hoban remembers that a Taekwondo fighter cannot attack with full force until they use both feet. Now that Toon has worn the water shoe, he will kick with his left foot to avoid slipping. Hoban gets a little courage and thinks he just has to tackle Toon again. But just then, Toon looks at him intently, and Hoban understands that Toon is still far ahead. Toon kicks him, and Hoban remembers that Sandiak had said that a Taekwondo fighter's kick makes the opponent's mind go blank, and that's what's happening. Everything in front of Hoban's eyes blurs. He can't breathe. Spencer tries to bring Hoban back to his senses, but Hoban now doesn't know what to do. He thinks that maybe he should just attack, but then Toon kicks him again. Hoban tries his reliable calf kick again, but Toon counters it. Sandiak had already said that things would get worse because Taekwondo moves can attack from any angle. Toon understands that Hoban's dominant leg is his right one, so he forcefully steps on it. Toon says that he didn't hit too hard, so the leg isn't broken, and Spencer begs him to stop. Now Toon uses his most stylish move, which is the back kick, the only move in which the fighter turns their back to the enemy. Spencer watches in fear as Hoban is completely defeated. Toon says that Hoban is lucky because if he had used his right leg, Hoban wouldn't be alive. Now he prepares to take over Hoban's YouTube channel and tells Spencer to be ready to work with him. Spencer pleads with him to stop, but Toon gets confused because the fight hasn't even started yet. It is then revealed that Spencer was actually begging Hoban, not Toon, to stop. Hoban stands up again, although all the viewers can see that he is barely alive. He remembers that Sandiak had said that even if a back kick doesn't land perfectly, it is still dangerous. That's why Hoban had prepared a body that could withstand such an attack. Full of self-confidence, Hoban stands up to fight again. He stands in the narrow stall of the toilet and reminds himself that he has to control the environment and neutralize Toon's kicking power. Spencer says in fear to stop or he will die, but Hoban just tells his viewers to stay tuned. Spencer wonders, is money really that important? But Hoban remembers what he is actually fighting for. Now his confidence is back, and he tells his viewers to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Toon says that Hoban is standing in the stall so he can't use his kicks. Hoban says that he thinks he can win this way. Toon replies, "Now I will prove you wrong." Toon delivers a back kick, but Hoban's real plan was to dodge that kick. Hoban pulls himself up and takes Toon down to the ground. He uses all of his core strength and throws Toon over his shoulder. This move, for which he practiced everything, is now completely successful. This technique is the baseball choke, and now this move is landing perfectly. Hoban was nothing to Toon, like a toy with which he was quenching his thirst, but now that same toy is filling him with helplessness and shame. Toon remembers his first defeat, the moment he first tasted failure in a fight, and now Toon taps out. This is the most humiliating moment for a fighter when he gives up in front of everyone. Spencer jumps up with joy because Hoban has defeated the person everyone calls the devil, but he is surprised when he sees that Hoban hasn't stopped yet. If this fight was in a ring, the bell would have rung by now, but this is a street fight, and the inexperienced Hoban has gotten so lost in the choke that he can't see Toon's tap out. He is still counting down from 10 and can't even hear Spencer's voice trying to stop him. Unfortunately, adrenaline has jammed all his senses. Now only one voice is echoing in his ears, that of his sensei's, Chicken Man, Sandiak. Sandiak had taught that a street brawl is not a martial arts competition. Do not back down until the enemy is unconscious. If you don't perform the baseball choke correctly, the enemy will get up again. When Hoban finishes counting to 10, he finally releases Toon, who is now passed out. The viewers can't believe their eyes, and Hoban declares victory. Toon had also lost to a baseball choke in an MMA tournament before, and since then people had started asking, is Taekwondo useless in MMA? The person who defeated Toon at that time was none other than Kim. Toon regains consciousness and sees that Hoban and Spencer are arguing about whether to leave him in the toilet or not. Toon is filled with anger, but he is surprised when Hoban says that he is only worried that Toon's watch fell off and that Hoban could see that the watch meant a lot to him. Toon gets annoyed and gives Hoban another push, saying that Hoban won so he can keep his YouTube channel. But on his way out, he says that if he meets again, he will regret it. Then, Spencer notices that Hoban is soaked in sweat. Hoban remembers that girls don't like the smell of sweat, but luckily, he has an active Aura body spray. He tells his viewers that this spray can be found in any store, and fans go crazy when they realize that Hoban is acting live. Both friends celebrate because their dangerous and viral fight is over. Now the rest of the work is for the editor, who will turn this entire live stream into a video. However, the editor, Gil, is a little worried because Hoban was also badly beaten. She posts the video and gets 3 million views almost instantly. Hoban thanks his audience. He has now reached 19,900 subscribers. Hoban and Spencer were happy that they hired Gil, but little did Hoban know that this video would be the beginning of the biggest tragedy of his life. Bomi is watching Hoban's video. Then, a strange man repeatedly calls her cute. The man is very tall and asks Bomi for her number. Bomi refuses and just gives him the thing she ordered. He asks for her number again, but Bomi flatly refuses, so the man leaves. The other people working there talk about how that man has been coming here frequently lately. Bomi thinks that Hoban had helped her when Pico was bothering her, but now she regrets that she left him alone that day. A little later, some butchers have difficulty lifting heavy meat. Just then, that same tall man comes and lifts the meat easily. Everyone is surprised, but his attention is only on Bomi. He repeatedly thinks about how cute Bomi is and thinks about how he can make her his own. People around say that his name is Wong and he's very good at Korean traditional wrestling. Wong then sees a video where Toon lost. He looks at the viral hit YouTube channel and thinks that if he defeats the guy in that video, his own channel will also become famous. Meanwhile, at school, Spencer wonders if Hoban is okay because a back kick sent him to the hospital. But nothing much happened to Hoban. Actually, Hoban has trained himself very hard. Still, Hoban remains a little worried. He feels that he has always been a victim of bullies, but Toon was a little different from others. Hoban doesn't think Toon is as bad as they thought before, but Spencer considers this madness. Hoban remembers Toon's facial expressions and wonders if he will meet Toon again. He wonders what Toon would be like now. Spencer says that the look on Toon's face when he passed out is going very viral on social media, and if he creates his own YouTube channel, he will get 200,000 subscribers instantly. Hearing this, Hoban immediately takes back all his thoughts about Toon because he doesn't like to take advantage of someone's appearance. On the other hand, Gil reminds herself that she has to give up some habits, like talking like old people and suddenly starting to sing. Then some mischievous boys scare and tease her and record her reaction video. Gil asks them to delete the video, but they threaten that if they don't keep quiet, they will upload the video immediately so that their channel gets views. One of them jokingly says that if they do that, Hoban will come. Then they all pretend to be scared of Hoban's hit and don't get hurt move. The mischievous boys laugh at Hoban's fighting technique and think that it will never work in a real fight. Hearing this, Gil gets angry and tries to attack them, but one of the boys uses the same technique on her. The other girls tease her about the way she talks, but Gil says that she is trying her best. At the same time, Spencer comes there and asks what they are doing to Gil. Gil sees that Spencer comes in a cool style, but he proves to be useless in a fight. The thugs defeat him in a jiffy. Then they mock him for his name Spencer. Just as they're about to attack Gil, Hoban comes and stops them. The thugs are not afraid of Hoban because Hoban looks quite small to them. All these thugs are first-year students, and Hoban, who is in the second year, is surprised at how big first-year students have become. Hoban doesn't know what to do now. The thug asks if they want to fight. They say that they also have a YouTube channel, and they think that Hoban's fight against Toon was fake.
They are sure that in a real fight, Hoban could never defeat Taeyun. Their leader challenges Hoban to a one-on-one fight in which both their YouTube channels are at stake. Hoban realizes that his silence has made these people too confident, but he understands that they are not as powerful as Taeyun. He decides that he has to look scary just like Taeyun. So he says the same line, "Bring out your inner sense," but everyone gives him money and starts laughing. Everyone knows that he's imitating Taeyun, but that thing only looks good on Taeyun. The thugs are about to attack Hobin when Kim comes there and scares everyone, which makes them stop. Later, Hobin and his friends talk about the group that was attacking Gil. They call themselves the Comedy Crew and only make prank videos. The worst part is that their channel is getting quite popular. Spencer thinks that he has to impress Gil, so he tells Hobin that he should have been more active. Gil was in danger and he just kept talking. Hobin says that Spencer was also there, so Spencer admits that he lost, but at least he fought. An argument starts between them. Just then, Gil is surprised when Hobin promises that if anyone ever bothers her again, he will teach her how to defend herself. That night, Hobin dreams of the time when Kim helped him. Kim let him follow him on Instagram, but Kim was more worried about Bhumi. He told Hobin to call Bhumi because she is not someone to be ignored. Hobin thinks that it is easy to say, but he cannot face Bhumi after his defeat. On the other hand, Gil laughs hysterically because Hobin protected her. She gets very excited and immediately messages Hobin. Hobin thinks that it must be something important, but Gil just wanted to message him. At McDonald's, that same tall man stares at Bhumi again and then leaves. Bhumi is happy that he left, but she finds it strange that he keeps staring like that. She starts to get scared because she is on the night shift today and thinks that he might be waiting outside. Just then she is surprised when Hobin suddenly comes there and orders something. Bhumi says angrily that she doesn't have that variety, but still she gives him that thing, and angrily calls the next customer. Hobin understands why Bhumi is angry. He had been missing for 2 months without saying anything. Hobin has his reasons, but he knows that Bhumi doesn't know how embarrassed he feels. But Bhumi had made that thing herself for Hobin. So Hobin thinks that he has to eat it now. Just then Bhumi notices that something is written on Hobin's hand. Hobin had written for himself that he should not call or message Bhumi, but should go and meet her himself. He had even written what to say to her. Seeing this, Bhumi laughs, but she hides it and calls the next customer. Hobin thinks that there is no other customer around, but the most important thing is that Bhumi smiled. Bhumi denies it, but Hobin says that he saw her cute dimples. Bhumi says that her dimples are always cute and then says that Hobin should leave now because there is a lot of work. Hobin thinks that maybe everything can be normal again, so he asks Bhumi how she is. But then the atmosphere completely changes when Bhumi says that Hobin has hired a girl as an editor. Hobin doesn't understand what's happening. Bhumi is smiling, but she looks even scarier than when she was angry. Hobin tries to explain everything and says that his editor's name is Gil and she's very cute. Gil accepts that Hobin finds Gil cute, and Hobin understands that he is digging his own grave. Then things get even worse when Gil comes there and also asks if Hobin thinks she's cute. Hobin replies yes, she is popular in the whole school. He thinks that maybe she came to meet him, but Gil says that she came to show him a song she wrote. Gil attacks him, but Hobin uses his how to survive without getting hit trick. Just then Bhumi is surprised. She genuinely thinks that Gil is very cute. And even more shocking thing happens when Gil gives Bhumi a gift of ginseng and tells her that Hobin always talks about her. She says that this gift is from Hobin, but he just doesn't know how to apologize. Hobin gets nervous. Gil says that Hobin really wanted to talk to Bhumi. Bhumi quietly tells Hobin to message her, but then repeatedly tells him not to. Gil says that she has to leave now and makes an excuse that her ingrown toenail is hurting again. Hobin thinks that maybe Gil had come to talk about something important, but she says that it wasn't anything like that. As she leaves, she thinks about many things Hobin said and angrily kicks a pole. The next day, Bhumi is happily talking to Hobin on a message, but then a YouTube group called the Comedy Crew traps her in a prank. They reveal who they are and how they scare people with fake snakes. Then they ask Bhumi if they can post the video of her scared reaction on YouTube. Bhumi is scared and confused, but they assume that her silence means yes. Just then, everyone is shocked because a car is coming directly towards Bhumi. Hobin is watching the Comedy Crew's video. He has to admit that their videos are a little funny, but Spencer doesn't like them at all because they were the same people who were bothering Gil in the video. These boys usually apologize after the prank, and the people they prank sometimes find it funny. They also take permission from people before uploading the video. Seeing this, Hobin is surprised because they look very good in the video, but no one knows what they are really like at school. Then Hobin is shocked when he finds out that they have more than 700,000 subscribers. He jokingly says that they should also throw fake snakes at people. But Spencer explains that their pranks are not just limited to snakes. They make jokes that don't bother people and look good to watch. Then they make videos after thinking carefully. Hobin still feels that they should also try something like this. Spencer says that they should upload 3 fight videos a week, but Hobin doesn't like this idea and puts him in a choke. Gil watches the Comedy Crew's video carefully, especially their editing. Just then the Comedy Crew suddenly comes and makes fun of Hobin for being so thin.
Then they also tease Spencer and say that it looks like these people want to fight. The comedy crew challenges them, but Spencer wants to hide in fear. They also taunt Gil, but then they say to leave these losers alone. They have only 19,900 subscribers. Just then Hoban says angrily, "One day we will also make our own prank video. Just you wait." But Spencer calls him a fool and says that making prank videos is very risky. Anything can go wrong during shooting. That is why most channels use scripts, but this comedy crew doesn't use scripts, so they can have problems if something goes wrong. At the same time, Hoban gets a message from Bhumi and gets happy, but when he reads the message, he is shocked. In the hospital, Bhumi tells Kim that she was almost hit by a car. The comedy crew pranked her and she fell, which sprained her leg. They also asked her if they can post the video. She somehow just survived. Kim is shocked to hear this, but Bhumi says that what felt worst was when she was scared for her life, and at that moment the comedy crew was just making a video and laughing. Then Hoban arrives at the hospital in anger, knowing that the comedy crew was laughing at that accident. Bhumi tries to calm him, but Hoban just apologizes. Then he sends her a message and says to forgive him because he couldn't get to her first. Hoban tells her to rest, and to Bhumi's surprise he leaves. Bhumi tries to stop him, but all that is going through Hoban's mind is that he wished he could have said all these things to her face. His last message is that he is leaving for now because Kim is with her. After this, Hoban tells us that there is an unsaid rule among losers that they never mess with a powerful fighter. Now Hoban realizes that he doesn't need to worry about new content because his next target is very close. He tells his team that the time has come and everyone gets ready. Spencer assures Hoban that they have been following the comedy crew very well and they have no suspicion that someone is spying on them. Hoban had overheard them talking about $13,000. Then Spencer says that Hoban is only worried about money. Hoban has concluded that the comedy crew is staging their content as Bhumi told him, but he has no proof. Just then Spencer says that he might have something. Spencer mentioned a video in which a girl was pranked in an elevator. The comedy crew acted like mafia bosses. But Hoban doesn't see anything wrong. In the video, the girl was crying in fear, but Spencer says that this was the way they deceived the audience. He sees something wrong with the elevator button. The video was more than 2 minutes long, but Spencer thinks that it doesn't take that long to go up a 7-story building. This was all fake, and it becomes clear that the girl only pretended to press the button. Now Hoban understands that this is quite obvious. Spencer explains that if the content is funny, people often don't pay attention to the details. That is why many new YouTubers take advantage of this. They hire actors to stretch their content, like another comedy crew video where the police were called. Spencer asked the real police and they told the truth that the police were sent that day because the comedy crew had said that they had seen a wanted criminal. It is clear that they are faking their content. That is why Spencer thinks that they should expose them. Hoban, however, is not satisfied with this because it didn't have the same impact as taking down someone like Peko. Just then Rumi comes and proposes a collaboration. She wants to make a prank video in which they spill coffee on her shirt. She says that everything is staged now, and they think that they can get a lot of views this way. She wants Hoban to write a script and start practicing, but Hoban gets angry and says that Bhumi got hurt because of a prank, and if Rumi wants to go for fake content, she should work with the comedy crew. Rumi feels very bad to hear this, but in a little while we see that she took Hoban's advice and was now doing a prank with the comedy crew. They say that they don't usually stage such pranks, but Rumi says that there is no harm in telling the truth.
Rumi saying it's easy to deceive foolish viewers for money, and that this deception is the name of the game. Another character, Yoon, agrees, stating that his viewers don't always grasp the truth. He adds that what really took down Payako wasn't violence, but his stage content. They mock their audience, but Ian says to let them because they're the fools from whom they're making money. They then invite Ruhi to join them for a smoke, but she declines, wanting to make more videos. She proposes shooting several videos at once and asks about their content ideas. Ruhi is shocked when Ian suggests their next video will be an expose on Hoban's viral hit YouTube channel. Ian is certain Hoban never actually beat Taewoon in a real fight, so he wants to expose them. Ruhi believes Hoban didn't fake anything, but Ian dismisses her concerns, saying they can just edit the video to make it look like Hoban staged all his fights. Ruhi can't believe they would do that, but Han explains that viewers are always hungry for drama and don't care about the truth. They just have to edit the video and claim it's fake, so everyone will attack him. Teen states that it's easy to deceive foolish viewers, and he's sure Viral Hit will never be able to make a comeback on YouTube because they will be labeled as fakers. The comedy crew has significantly more subscribers, so the audience will believe them. Rui thinks she doesn't want to go that far and tries to leave, but Ian stops her, revealing he recorded their entire conversation when she was mocking her viewers. Ian tries to force her into an alliance, but Ruhi reveals that she has been live broadcasting everything. She then explains that she made a deal with Hoban. If she could get Han to say something on his phone that could harm him, Hoban would collaborate with her. Rui apologizes and states that while the comedy crew has more subscribers, she believes Viral Hit has a much brighter future. Just then, the Viral Hit crew arrives, looking cooler than ever. Rui gives Spencer the evidence, and Spencer calls Han a fool. Hoban praises Rui for a job well done. Then Hoban addresses the comedy crew and wonders if staged videos are the only way they know how to make content. Hoban thinks he can defeat them even though there are 3 of them. He announces that the live broadcast will start now, and it will be called How to Defeat Multiple Opponents. Hoban stands taller than Han, and Han wonders if Hoban was always this big. A flashback shows Hoban watching a Sam Doc video where Birdman explains that his viewers can't win against multiple opponents and would need to learn at least 10 skills. As ordinary people, they have no chance, and he tells them to give up the idea of defeating multiple opponents. Sam Doc acts like the video's ending, but then he declares that even if they can't win in a fight, they can still win. Hoban can't believe Sam Doc tricked him again, and Sam Doc explains how an ordinary person can defeat multiple opponents. The secret is bluffing and intimidation. A praying mantis bluffs to avoid being eaten, and gorillas intimidate each other to not be taken lightly. The method for winning with less strength is called playing mantis block. In the present, Hoban has mastered this technique, intimidating the comedy crew by asking, "Do you want to die?" He then asks if they think they can do anything to him just because he always smiles. He has a terrifying look on his face, but he's actually thinking that he's terrified and might wet himself. He's a good actor. However, Spencer can feel that Hoban looks completely different this time. Hoban reminds himself not to change his facial expression and to say whatever he says concisely. The most important thing is that they don't know that Hoban is actually scared. Hoban tells them to drop their phones and leave. And Ian starts to wonder if Hoban really defeated Peako and Taewoon. Hoban's plan is working perfectly, as Ian thinks Hoban looks bigger than ever. Just as the tension reaches its peak, Hoban's shoes suddenly rips and he twists his ankle. Sam Doc's words echo in Hoban's mind, where he said never to reveal your bluff and intimidation until it's all over. Now, Hoban is in a truly bad situation, because the comedy crew has found his shoe insoles, which were making him look taller. Hoban is sure his life is over, but he doesn't want them to know, so he confidently tells them to return the shoe. For the first time, Sam Doc's voice isn't in Hoban's mind during a fight. This didn't happen because he forgot the things said in the video, but because he got too excited and lost his composure. Now, as he runs for his life, this is the first time Hoban will fight without relying on any video. He uses some techniques he learned earlier and now realizes how far he's come. The comedy crew wants Hoban to give up, but Hoban can't believe he hasn't even hurt them a little. On the other hand, Kim is watching Hoban's stream with his friends and says that it's all over. Hoban's friends call him a shrimp, but Kim explains that they would never be able to practice a single kick 10,000 times in a month as Hoban did. His friends are shocked to hear this. Kim explains that a normal person can't even stand up after taking a calf kick. That's what happened to the comedy crew. But Kim finds something strange. Han wasn't kicked, so why isn't he moving? Just then, Kim's master, Logan, explains why the comedy crew's leader is frozen. Logan says that Hoban has already given the answer. He is scared. Hoban apologizes to his mother, saying that his heart is beating fast, but it's not because of love, but because of fear, and yet he feels somehow excited. He thinks that maybe it's all because of adrenaline, and he happily thinks about what the next move should be. Just then, Gael arrives and says that she has captured the female member of the comedy crew. Ian acts as if he was about to defeat Hoban and then uses the excuse of the girl being held hostage to leave. Spencer is relieved that they are leaving. The comedy crew says that they were lucky this time. For now, their rivalry is over, but no one knows that this fight has awakened something inside Hoban. His heart is now beating even faster, and he starts to think that maybe fighting is fun. But this thought scares Hoban, and he wonders if he's going crazy.
Meanwhile, his friends announce the end of the stream. Later, the video is uploaded and gets over 2.3 million views. The comedy crew tries to apologize to their viewers, but the infamy they have to endure is so great that they have to shut down their channel. On the other hand, Hoban's viral hit channel reaches 21,000 subscribers, and everything seems to be back to normal. One night, Bomi is returning home alone. Hoban tells her that it's dangerous. Bomi says that someone was following her earlier, so Hoban offers to meet her and walk her home. Just then, Bomi meets a giant man, Hoon. He says that now they are alone, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Fortunately, Kim arrives and saves Bomi. Kim surprises Hoon by grabbing him by the throat, and then, even more surprisingly, he uses How to Fight Lesson 1, making your opponent angry. He starts to massage Hoon's chest. Hoon wonders if Kim is some kind of viral hit impersonator. But Kim, without stopping, moves on to his next technique called How to Fight a Syrian Wrestler. We then see that Kim has grabbed Hoon's arm. He tells Hoon to tap out, which means to surrender. But this is the first time Kim has faced such a strong person. Hoon easily lifts and carries him. However, Kim escapes his attack and decides that he has to take this not as a fight, but as a direct confrontation. Hoon lunges at him, but everyone is surprised when Hoban runs towards them at full speed. Bomi wasn't answering his messages, so he panicked and went looking for her. But then Hoon grabs him and slams him so hard onto the ground that Hoban can't even scream. Syrian, or wrestling, is a fighting style in which opponents grab each other's belts and drag each other. Hoon had reached the pinnacle of this sport at just 17 years old. But more than wrestling, he likes one thing: girls. However, girls are afraid of him, and he hates men the most, especially those cool men who can do all the romantic things he can't. Spencer knows everything about Hoon. He says that Hoon is just strength from head to toe. Hoban has just been badly defeated by him. But Spencer says that Hoon is like a monster, so Hoban shouldn't be too hard on himself. But Hoban is still hiding and not coming out because he's embarrassed again in front of Bomi. Spencer says he was lucky that the police came and stopped the fight, and he tells Hoban to stop complaining about being repeatedly embarrassed. Hoban was able to confront the comedy crew because the rule of fear was working inside him.
According to this rule, when someone has experienced a lot of fear, small fears can't harm him. The fear of the comedy crew was small, but in front of Hoon, Hoban experienced the biggest fear of his life. Spencer tells him to let go of this fear, otherwise he will never be able to take revenge on Hoon, just as he did with Pico earlier. Hoban sadly agrees with him. Spencer is happy because if Hoon targets Hoban again, it will be all over. Spencer is happy that their viewers don't know anything about this and thinks that this incident will just be hidden. But then, Gael gets scared. She sees that Hoon has uploaded the entire incident on his YouTube channel, and the video's title is I Defeated Viral Hit. The video's comments are going crazy. Everyone wants Hoban to challenge Hoon for a rematch. Gael is scared that Hoban might actually be thinking of doing that. But Hoban is shocked when Spencer tells him he can't. Spencer clearly states that he will not let Hoban fight Hoon, because Hoban needs to stay alive to continue his YouTubing. He is afraid that this time, Hoban might even lose his life. Spencer tells Hoban to trust him and let him handle everything. That night, Spencer did a live stream and explained that whatever happened with Hoon was just an accident. Fortunately, this worked, and the public sympathy leaned towards him. This way, Hoban did not have to fight Hoon. Hoban knows he should feel relieved, but something is bothering him. He thinks that maybe it's because of Bomi, because if he hadn't stopped Hoon, who knows what might have happened to Bomi. Bomi says she doesn't care. She just wants Hoban not to try to fight Hoon. Just then, Hoban realizes that he's actually angry at himself because he was more scared than Bomi. To distract himself, Hoban starts watching YouTube videos. But he is shocked when a Sam Duck video pops up. The name of this video is How an Ordinary Person Can Defeat a Serum Fighter. Unfortunately, Sam Duck says in this video that it's impossible for a beginner to defeat a grappler. He was just making this video to make this point clear. Hoban then sees that there is no video on Sam Duck's channel that teaches how a beginner can defeat a grappler. Still, something is bothering Hoban, and he can't understand why his chest feels so heavy. Then he is shocked when he understands the real reason.
He immediately contacts Spencer, and we find out that Spencer has saved Hoban's name as only LI on his phone. Spencer is very happy with his explainer video. He feels that he is now in control of the entire story. He is happy that the Hoon matter is now over. But on the other hand, we see that Hoban is preparing something with great force, and then Hoban announces that he is really going to fight Hoon. Spencer is stunned, and we see that Hoban is cycling like crazy. Hoban once again apologizes to his mother and says that when a person feels a lot of fear, a hormone called adrenaline is released in their body. Some people get addicted to the feeling of this adrenaline. Now Hoban has realized that he has also become addicted to the adrenaline from fighting. He confronts Hoon, starting with a taunt and asking, "Are you also standing in line to be processed like the rest of the meat?" In the market, Hoban uses the same technique that Kim used to provoke Hoon. After this, we see that Hoban had watched the entire Samduk video, which explained how a beginner can win a fight against a Surum wrestler. Nearby, Tawoon is also watching Hoban's stream, but he doesn't think Hoban has any chance against Hoon. However, he also says that Hoban came to him a few days ago to learn something. Hoban had asked Tawoon to teach him the greatest fancy move in Taekwondo, the back kick. Tawoon found this interesting, but reminded Hoban that he had said he would finish him the next time they met. Tawoon hit Hoban with a back kick and thought that maybe Hoban was going to make his next video at his own funeral. Actually, Tawoon kicked Hoban's bag, which was full of thick books. Still, Hoban felt a lot of pain. This gave Tawoon an idea of how much Tawoon's real strength was, and he remembered that when they first fought, Tawoon was going easy on him. Tawoon said he would only let Hoban live if Spencer came out of hiding, but Hoban said that he was not recording this meeting and was not doing all this for any content. He said that he just wants to learn this kick no matter what. Hoban felt that he couldn't go back empty-handed, so he told Tawoon that Taekwondo is the most powerful. These words touched Tawoon's heart, and Hoban once again pleaded with him to teach him this move.
Spencer is angry that Hoban went straight into a fight without any plan, but then he thinks that maybe Hoban has a hidden ace up his sleeve. Every time Hoban has fought someone, he has learned something new, so Spencer thinks that maybe it will be the same this time. Hoban uses a calf kick, and he gets very excited because he is feeling adrenaline again. Spencer praises his kick, but everyone is surprised when Hoon says that it didn't affect him. Hoban repeatedly kicks his calf, but there is still no effect, and now he starts to regret all the excitement and enthusiasm he felt. He panics and wonders how Hoon can be so calm. He feels that kicking Hoon is like kicking a truck weighing a ton. Samduk said in his video that Serum fighters train standing in a circle of sand. They even train to keep their toes up. He had also said that if someone confronts such fighters, it's best to run away. Hoon now really starts to run, and he realizes that everything he thought about adrenaline was nonsense. Even fights can be fun, but this is a one-sided fight, and now it's not a fight but an attempt to survive. Spencer is proud that Hoban is keeping his eyes on the enemy even while running backward. Spencer is also proud of himself for being smart and tells all the viewers that this is all part of Hoban's plan. He claims that the effect of Hoban's calf kick will be felt when Hoon starts to run. A viewer calls him a fool and says that it is basic training for Serum wrestlers to be able to run at full speed on sand. Hoon himself says that he runs 30 kilometers every day, and he is very fast. Just then, Hoban punches Hoon directly in the face and says that Samduk taught him everything about Serum fighters. He says that many animals are weakest when they are running. But unfortunately, this trick doesn't work. Hoon lifts Hoban, and Hoban wonders what this man is made of. Now Hoban decides that he has to fight with his own technique. So he tries to do a baseball choke, but Hoon just tells him not to grab his head. Hoon's neck is so thick that a basic choke has no effect. Hoban understands that his technique will not work here. Hoon decides to punish Hoban because he touched his head, and Hoban thinks that maybe this is his weakness. But when he punches Hoon in the head, Hoon uses the most flashy Serum move, the front suplex. Spencer calls out to Hoban, but Hoban now understands that this fight is completely different from other fights. An ordinary person really cannot defeat a Serum wrestler, and he has no right to be angry about this. Spencer blames himself because of this. He did not want Hoban to fight this fight. Everyone gets scared when Hoon lifts something, and everyone thinks that he has pulled out Hoban's spine. But it was actually a device that was protecting Hoban. Now he doesn't have it. Spencer begs him to run, but Hubin repeats something that Tawoon had told him. Strikers cannot be weaker than grapplers. Tawoon is also watching the live stream. Hubin announces that he will now use the most spectacular move of Taekwondo. Just then, Hubin stops backing away and throws a back kick. In a flashback, it is shown that Tawoon was very angry with his dojo. Tawoon feels that his dojo is a sacred place where there should only be a fighting spirit, but he got very angry when he saw that children were only doing homework there and that the place was becoming a daycare. His sensei explained that MMA has become very popular nowadays, so people are not interested in learning Taekwondo. Sensei promised that if Tawoon gets first place in a tournament, they will try their best to keep Taekwondo alive. But Tawoon understood that Sensei was just making excuses. But Tawoon decided that he would defeat MMA fighters with Taekwondo and show them that Taekwondo is the best. Then we are shown the moment when Tawoon trained Hubin. Tawoon's uniform fits Hubin perfectly. Tawoon made Hubin practice running backward. Hubin was still scared of Tawoon and was thinking that this new method was not bullying. He questioned the training methods, but Tawoon explained that this is the way to learn a back kick. Tawoon told him to target the solar plexus. Then we return to the present, where Hubin throws a back kick, but something doesn't feel right, and Hubin realizes that his kick landed below Hoon's stomach. Spencer says that everything is fair in a street fight, and he is surprised that now 300 people are watching the live stream. Spencer thinks that now Hubin has the advantage, but he is completely wrong. Hoon lifts Hubin again, and Hubin is surprised that his kick had no effect. Spencer thinks that if Hubin loses in front of so many people, his channel will be completely finished.
Hoon tries to do a suplex again, and Hubin knows that he no longer has that protection device. He tries to grab something and everyone is surprised when he pulls out Hoon's hair. Hubin's streams were always full of live chats and comments, but for the first time today, the chat is completely silent. No one is saying anything because both fighters are completely numb. After this, we see that after the fight is over, all the fighters are sitting together. Hubin apologizes and consoles Hoon, saying that maybe a cure for Hoon's condition will be found soon. Hoon says that he worked so hard to become a fighter to impress girls, but he later found out that this only applies to good-looking fighters. People just consider him fat and ugly. Hoon is very disappointed because he wanted to get a girlfriend before all his hair fell out. He's taking hair growth pills and says that his fight with Kim was a misunderstanding. He thought Kim was following Bomi, so he mistook him for a stalker. The boys explained to him that there are better ways to get a girlfriend, but Hoon only believes a dating guru who has claimed to have dated over 10,000 girls. Hubin and Spencer understand that Hoon is not a bad person at heart. Hoon asked Hubin if he will ever be able to get a girlfriend. Hubin's eyes well up with tears because he has also felt the same way. He assures Hoon that he will definitely get a girlfriend someday. Hoon says that the desire to get a girlfriend was the thing that made him start nude tubing. Now Hubin starts to cry uncontrollably. Spencer also connects with his emotions, and all three of them sit there and cry together. Hoon gives up and says that he will quit nude tubing. But then Hoon shows him the live chat. People are supporting Hoon and saying that he can definitely fulfill his dream. Hubin announces that Hoon's nude tubing career has just begun. Everything goes well and Hubin finishes another successful live stream. Kim is happy, and Bomi also finishes the stream and attends to a customer. Gail edits the video and it gets 3 million views. The viral hit channel now has 21,000 subscribers. Hubin is now earning a lot of money, but Spencer takes all the credit, saying that he will soon become a film director. Just then, Spencer is surprised to see something. On the other hand, Hubin is very happy. He no longer has to worry about money and he can talk to Bomi every day. His mother asks if he has a girlfriend, but Hubin denies it. She asks why the debt collectors no longer call, and Hubin says that his new part-time job pays very well. His mother is suspicious and just wants the work to be legal and clean. Hubin knows that he can't tell her the truth that he earns money by fighting. She says that a nurse wants to talk to him. Hubin goes to meet the nurse. The nurse says that a donor has been found for his mother and her surgery will happen very soon. If all goes well, she won't even need dialysis. Hubin starts to cry because now his mother will be able to come home. The nurse reminds him that this is good news, but the surgery will be very expensive. Hubin says that it's not a concern. I have the money. He goes and gives this good news to Bomi and thinks that everything is going so well now. Now he has friends, his mother is getting well, and there is no shortage of money. And Hoban says that for the first time in his life, he is this happy.